Kicking off with a victory here today is absolutely essential. Our team here at Murrayfield, our match commentator Thomas Duncan, the former Scotland and Lions prop Peter Wright, the former Scotland number 8 Johnny Beattie, and BBC Scotland's chief sports writer Tom English. Peter Wright, here we are again, ready to go again. How are you feeling about Scotland and the Six Nations this year?
Yeah, great to be here. Starting a new Six Nations, excited, worried. Looking at the quality of that Italian team, and obviously the fact that they beat us last year and they probably should have beat us 2 years ago here. A lot of apprehension, but look at the crowd, absolutely fantastic, noisy. If nothing else, it's going to be a spectacular afternoon, Andy.
Yeah, Johnny Beattie, I think maybe a few weeks ago we were quite full of optimism about Scotland. The injuries have hit Scotland hard, not least the captain Sione Tuipulotu, but still a very good Scotland team Gregor Townsend's been able to put on the field today.
It's a very good side, and I don't think the way they will approach the game or try to play will change at all. They will still use Stafford McDowell, who's stepping in as a pivot to create space for that back line outside him, as Sione Tuipulotu has done so well over the past 2 or 3 seasons, and you can't underestimate, he's been one of the world's best players for 2 or 3 seasons. He has really shone in that 12 jersey for Scotland and for Glasgow, so a big challenge for Stafford McDowell to not allow a dip in the quality of that backline performance. They will not change their approach. It's a huge opportunity for him, and I'm delighted to see him getting his chance. The other injury, Scott Cummings missing out as well. You got Johnny Gray coming back from injury after 2 years out of rugby completely. He's now flying in the top 14 with Bordeaux, so delighted to see him back. But first game, opportunity, anxiety, nerves, the whole lot, an expectant Murrayfield. And what a cracker of a game, because both of these sides play a phenomenal brand of rugby.
Yeah, Tom, I was through the Scotland and Italy press conferences yesterday. Finn Russell saying this is probably the strongest Italy team he will have ever faced. And when I spoke to Sebastian Negri, threw that compliment straight back at Scotland. So it's 2 teams that will fancy it today.
Yeah, this is the modern rugby, where everybody love bombs each other. It was different.
You're not
in
a fan
Wrighty's
of that, are you?
No, Wrighty. I'm with Wrighty on this. There won't be a lot of love out there in the pitch, that's for sure. It's a very, very dangerous Italy team. Obviously, as Wrighty said, they won last year. They could well have won the year before. They 3 points off beating England last season. Should have beaten France. This is a very accomplished Italy team, a very dangerous Italy team. And they won't be afraid of this.
Yeah, the team's just emerging out onto the field. Murrayfield packed to the rafters for the opening weekend of the Six Nations. And the pyrotechnics go off. Scotland fans here expectant, but as Tom suggests, perhaps a little nervous about what this Italy team might bring. They're chasing their own little bit of history today, looking for 3 successive championship wins in the Six Nations era for the very first time. And of course, Peter Wright, just briefly, that defeat in Rome will make sure Scotland are on guard today.
Yeah, it just focuses the mind, doesn't it? They won't have to be focused. Scotland just have to look at the quality in that Italian team. They play against them week in, week out, whether in the URC, whether it's in Europe. Some of the guys are teammates, obviously the Toulouse guys, Capuccio and Kinghorn are teammates, so there'll be the utmost respect. But as Tom says, he wants to cross the white line. You hate them. You absolutely hate them. In a sporting term, you hate them. What always worries me when you play the Italians is their passion is huge. I mean, it's the one game they always believe they can win is Scotland, and this could be another one they believe they can win.
Yeah, well, this is it, Tom. The Italians, as Peter said, they always bring the passion for the jersey, but now they've added some serious ability, particularly behind what is a powerful pack, but the threats in that back line are many.
They are. The back line is excellent. The midfield partnership is arguably the best in the Six Nations last season. Pace, power out wide, tremendous fullback as well. I think Alan is a good player. I think he's possibly a better 15 than he is at 10, because you can see that he can scan the pitch at 15. If Italy were to win today, it wouldn't be a shock, and I'd be wondering whether it'd even be a bit surprise, maybe a mild surprise if Italy would win today. But they've put down some fantastic results in the Six Nations last season, and they've won everybody's respect.
Well, the Murrayfield crowd with a minute's applause to pay tribute to former Scotland captain Peter Brown and former Scotland number 8 John Douglas, both of whom have recently passed away. Terrific ovation for a couple of former Scotland internationals. And now we pause for the national anthems. In fact, no we don't, we've gone early there. This is Princess Anne making her way along the line. How could I forget that little tradition at Murrayfield?
You'll be excommunicated for that, Berkey.
I know, apologies. Johnny Beattie, when you look at that Italy side, who do you think Scotland will need to be wary of today?
The whole bunch of them. And I think, and again, we talked about the compliments they pay each other. This is, without doubt, under Gonzalo Quesada, the best organised Italian team we've ever seen. Treviso just knocked over La Rochelle 2 weekends ago in the Champions Cup, the double Champions Cup winners. They're packed full of quality and they're organised to the highest level. Again, we just touched on the centre partnership. Brex and Menoncello, very similar to the way Scotland play. They generate so much for players around them, absolute chaos. Menoncello was the player of the championship last season. That is absolutely saying something. I think we're quick to forget. So all of those boys, Brex, Menoncello, Capozzo, was part of an 80-point win over Leicester a few weekends ago. They're part of teams that are flying high in Italy and in France. Paolo Garbisi's keeping Dan Biggar out the side at Toulon. There's talent all over the place, and up front there's physicality, there's platform, and there's collision dominance. So they're all core. This is a proper Italian side, and this is going to be a huge test match for Scotland.
Huge test match for Dave Cherry. Peter, his first involvement in the Scotland team since the World Cup. I think that selection took a lot of us by surprise.
Yeah, it did. I mean, the impression I was getting after that World Cup is that he may never be involved with Scotland again for the indiscretions of getting drunk, I believe, and falling downstairs.
Careful now, right?
Allegedly, yes, falling downstairs, and but it was all negative when he came. I like him as a player. I think he's got a bit of dog about him. He's just as Gregor said in his interview, I think he's ideal for this type of match. Physicality, he's very much a set piece player. Will not be as probably dynamic as Ashman in the loose, but I think he'll give you a lot of the close, hard yards work that you're going to need to do against this Italian team. And you know, at 34 he gets another crack at it, and you know, I hope he takes it and takes it well.
Johnny mentioned a little earlier, Stafford McDowell, big game for him. Tom, who's devoted so much airtime and column inches to Sione Tuipulotu, he's not here. Scotland need to get over it, and Stafford's going to be a big part of that.
Yeah, he is. Listen, he's a tremendous footballer. You know, he captains Glasgow, or has captained Glasgow. He's a big unit. He can play. He's got a good boot on him. He's got all that power. So, like this, I mean, if there was no Sione Tuipulotu, if he didn't exist, Scotland would be delighted with Stafford McDowell. It would be. Like, he's a very accomplished player, and I hope, and I presume that he doesn't have all this. Oh, I need to do what Sione Tuipulotu does in his head. He just needs to be his own player. Do what he does. Forget about trying to copy Tuipulotu. And it's just, I'm rooting for him, you know, because all of the preamble here has been about, oh, woe is us. There's no Tuipulotu. Some of that has got to kind of get into his head, and I'm really on his side today.
And for him, it's his opportunity. He had a couple of games during the autumn, but he's been desperate for this chance. He's had to sit and watch Sione play, and as a player, you are waiting for your opportunity. His challenge now is to perform as an individual, not let there be a drop-off in the way that backline operates, to let people shine, to boss that gain line, get over. He's 6'5", he's a big boy. Take the game to Italy, get over that gain line, and then bring people into the game with you, which he can do, and he has done for Glasgow. So it's a big, big game for him. Can't wait to see him play.
Yeah, big day for Stafford McDowell, big day for Scotland, their opening match of the Six Nations against Italy, looking to avenge that defeat in Rome last year that derailed their title charge. They do not want to fall at the first hurdle this time around. A victory absolutely essential if Scotland are to finally have a say in the destination of the Six Nations trophy come the end of the tournament. Of course, Ireland here next weekend. But it's all about Italy here today at Murrayfield. Can Scotland get it done, or will Italy shock the Scots again? Coming up here on BBC Radio Scotland shortly, but first the national anthems. versus Italy live on BBC Radio Scotland and 5 Sports Extra. Kick-off just moments away, so let's get some final predictions. Peter Wright, how's this one going?
I think it's going to be tight. I think Scotland will win by 1 score.
Johnny Beattie?
Completely agree with Righty. Tight, phenomenal test match. I think it might be high scoring, dry, perfect conditions. Both sides play attacking rugby, but Scotland by less than 10 points.
Tom English?
I think Scotland were very fast starters in the last Six Nations, very slow finishers. I think they're very aware of that. I think they'll win this game late on and win it by 10 points.
Huge game for both sides to kick off the Six Nations Championship. How will it go? Will Scotland avenge last season's defeat in Rome, or will Italy create their own little bit of history here at Murrayfield today? Let's find out in the company of Peter Wright, Johnny Beattie and Thomas Duncan.
Weekend 1 of the Six Nations, always full of hope until the action starts and the contenders are quickly separated from the pretenders. Scotland have been pretenders in this competition for the 25 years since Italy joined. Is that about to change? And the pre-tournament optimism slightly deflated by the absence of captain Sione Tuipulotu, but it is still an experienced and very talented Scotland 23 this afternoon. Although Italy come here as a side, as a nation in rugby, who are written off by fewer and fewer every year. Their best championship last time out, 2 wins and a draw, going for 3 in a row in the Six Nations for the first time. And no one needs to tell Scotland about the threat Italy pose. They've lost to the Italians more than the rest of the nations in this tournament combined. They'll be switched on and focused and know the challenge that's coming at them, and keen to avenge the defeat in Rome from a year ago. Italy are going to kick us off, shooting from left to right here. Garbisi kicking as we stand in the West Stand in Murrayfield. Italy in white, all in white with blue flecks through their kit. Scotland in the traditional dark blue jerseys, white shorts, dark blue socks. And here we go, Scotland's Six Nations campaign is underway. Garbisi kicks it into the Scotland 22. It's taken and set up, and Scotland's hold it comfortably at the rock, and Ben White takes it back and box kicks Scotland out of trouble. And that's a better start than they had against Italy last year when they gave away a penalty at the first rock. Solid exit from Scotland, and I'll run you quickly through the teams. Scotland's in the pack: Schumann, Cherry and Fagerson in the front row, Gray and Gilchrist in the second row, Ritchie, Darge and Fagerson the back row. In the backs, Ben White partnering Finn Russell in the half-back. Centre, Stafford McDowell and Hugh Jones, Johan van der Merwe and Darcy Graham in the wings, and Blair Kinghorn at full-back as Italy take the line out cleanly and set up around halfway, and trucked up as they nudge over the halfway line. Turnover though. Rory Darge has emerged with the ball, and Scotland's look to play, taken forward by Xander Fagerson just inside Italian territory. White away, Russell fizzes it towards his touchline. Kinghorn takes it over halfway, wide pass to Johan van der Merwe on the left wing, evades one tackle, still going now into the Italy 22. Scotland's motoring as Johnny Gray takes it into contact. White away from the base of the ruck. Fagerson ducks and is scragged to the turf. Dave Cherry, the crowd's ringing in his ears as Dave Cherry is taken down. Scotland still trying to inch forward in the Italy 22. McDowell lays it back. Johnny Gray goes round the corner. Good Italy defence so far. It's Matt Fagerson with a little show and go. Scotland just making small metres at the moment, still with the ball. Italy defending stoutly. It comes to this near side. Xander Fagerson once more. Ben White, Cherry's there. Cherry takes it, manages to shrug off one tackle. Ben White 5 metres out. Schumann 6 short. White goes digging, gives it to Russell. Now they move it right and it evades Hugh Jones, bounces, and Jones is smashed backwards, but the referee's whistle had gone.
I think for a split second I thought Russell was going to put the crossfield, which I think he was going to, but I don't think he's seen. I think he looked and thought Darcy Graham wasn't there, because Darcy Graham had a huge amount of space. But what What an aggressive start from Scotland. That breakdown is absolutely brutal. They are smashing into that. Fagerson, both of them took the ball on. Johnny Gray, Dave Cherry. But the accuracy of the next two guys in, really dynamic, really aggressive, and getting good ball for Scotland to attack.
Yeah, and they had advantage, and it's tap and go. Cherry, now White. Scotland move it through the hands. Russell into Kinghorn, who burrows round but falls to the grass. Now it's into the wide channel. Driving forward is Rory Darge. I think, has he got the ball down? He has. Try! Scotland on the boards in the opening few minutes. Massive hugs all round, and Murrayfield comes to life. The perfect start to Scotland's Six Nations. They lead Italy 5 points to 0.
The perfect start, and again taking the game by the scruff of the neck. The quick tap option as opposed to going for the 3 points. Nice set piece play across the front of defenders. Finn Russell, the ball popped out to Blair Kinghorn, and the forwards come round the corner. Rory Darge manages to bust through 2 tackles, rides the third, and stretches over. The dream start for Scotland.
Yeah, it's one of those ones. Normally you would place it backwards, which you're allowed to do, but you're allowed to make one movement, and he's just dragged the ball forward right in front of the ref. It's also quite a high tackle on him as well, so you would potentially argue that they would come back for that. But just the dynamic way Scotland have started this game is really encouraging. Their body position's good. They're going 2 or 3 yards beyond, clearing it really well. But they obviously know it's going to be a tough game, and they're starting like that.
Finn Russell adds the extra, so Scotland 7, Italy 0 in the opening 5 minutes here at Murrayfield. Russell with a comfortable kick. He got 55 of the 57 points available in last year's Six Nations. An area of his game that's improved hugely in recent years off the tee as Scotland collect the restart. And again they've set it up at the back with Ben White to box kick downfield, and it goes off the park just around the halfway line, and it will be an Italy line out, but solid exits as well from Scotland so far.
And that's the second. The kick quality from Ben White, getting his side up to the 50 metre channel. As a forward you're happy if it's anything after the 40, but a 50 metre, get Italy back into their half, force them to play.
Make sure we stay.
Very clean exit.
Italy line out, it will be Giacomo Nicotera, the Stade Francais hooker, to throw in, goes to the front. It's taken comfortably by Ruzza, and Italy set up the maul, but it's not really going anywhere, and they have to use it, and then it's kicked down to Darcy Graham, who calls for the mark, and Scotland will be pleased with that line out defence as well in the opening couple of minutes.
Yeah, it was solid, wasn't it? Normally in that situation there you would think the Italians would get the drive on, but Scotland managed to stop it fairly right on the line, which meant I think the scrum half couldn't have come up, could he? I think it was one of the forwards that gave the pass, and then obviously taking the mark there, I thought he would have maybe passed that out to Blair Kinghorn. Kinghorn a good angle to put a better kick in.
Disappointing though, Darcy Gray has called for that mark. He's only managed to get the ball maybe 5-10 metres outside his 22, so Italy now a much better place to launch from.
Yeah, it was a loose kick from Darcy Graham, and Scotland though have it, win it at the line out, and Russell moves it, and Scotland on the front foot. Hugh Jones, Kinghorn over halfway all of a sudden. Kinghorn is dived on, and then Menoncello tries to get his hands on the ball at the ruck, but Scotland clear. Xander Fagerson pops it to Gilchrist, who puts the head down and pumps the legs in, gets up to Italy's 10 metre line. Now it's Johnny Gray playing for Scotland for the first time in nearly 2 years after his injury hell. Russell gives it to Van der Merwe, a little half space, but he's taken around the ankles by Menoncello. Scotland get it away through Kinghorn. Now it's Matt Fagerson, hit by Cannone. Ben White short to Johnny Gray, punches into the white wall that is the Italian defence, and now Gilchrist is taking it on, and it's all a bit messy on the floor. Russell receives the ball and floats a kick high into the sky, and there's pressure on from Darcy Graham, but it's a good take from Monty Ioane, who calls for the mark. Scotland's playing with good intensity.
Yeah, and variant as well, aren't they? They're trying to, obviously they've got to do the hard yards, but you know, Russell comes into that line, and it's the pass selection from him that's really hard to defend, because there's guys, well, you've probably got 3 or 4 guys that he can hit, but he's hitting all different ones, and when you're defending that, it's really difficult. So just keep that variation going. The difficult part for Scotland is going to be to keep this intensity going for 80 minutes.
Scotland line out on the Italy 10. It's taken off the top fairly easily as Russell moves it into midfield, and Matt Fagerson hits a line. Italy hold things up, and Lamoureux, who made 31 tackles in that victory over Scotland in Rome last year, and then Scotland come down the try line, and Duhan van der Merwe pins his ears back. He moves it inside, Hugh Jones catches it, and Hugh Jones scores a try, a walk-in try for Hugh Jones. What a start for Scotland and Murrayfield. 2 quick-fire tries, and they are motoring clear of Italy. 12-0 they lead after only 8.5 minutes.
A superb piece of innovation by the Scottish side. That was straight off the training ground. You can see how the back line lined up. It wasn't from first or second phase they wished to strike. They brought Stafford McDowell just to straighten the line, and then it's the third phase. They use Jamie Ritchie as the focal point. The ball goes out the back, and the 3-on-2 is created. It's Blair Kinghorn that allows Duhan van der Merwe to get free down the flank, and Hugh Jones catches the deflection. Scotland 2 quick tries in the opening 10 minutes, but beautifully worked by that Scottish backline.
Yeah, it's having all those different options, isn't it? When you're defending, if you've got one option to defend, it's easy. Two's a little bit harder, but Scotland have got 3 or 4 different options there. Really difficult, and such a narrow area as well, but they still managed to get a 3v2, 2v1, and a little bit of luck, yeah, a little bit fortunate, but sometimes need just a little bit of luck as well to win games.
Finn Russell pops over the conversion from in front of the sticks, which makes it Scotland 14, Italy 0. And the Six Nations live on BBC Radio Scotland and 5 Sports Extra, and the kick-off is claimed. What a start for Gregor Townsend's side. The dream start, really. Still a long way to go in this game, and we saw what Italy managed in Rome a year ago, where they put in a strong second half showing. So Ben White loads it up, and again box kicks down over halfway, doesn't find touch. It's taken by Tommaso Allen into Garbisi, who puts the Gary Owen up, and Schumann is underneath it, and he just waits for the Italian player to catch it and then melts him into next week with a shuddering hit. Italy still have it though. Here's Brex, pops the kick through into the Scotland 22. Russell's the man back, he strides back, and then it bounces awkwardly and just misses him, and then Italy trying to get in for the try, but the referee's whistle has gone. Menoncello thought he was walking in there for a score, but it was in touch according to the officials.
Definitely in touch. Even I can see that from here, hitting it bounced on the white line, pretty sure. But that's a great wee kick. It's that horrible kick. You're hoping it's going to go dead, you're hoping it's going to go into touch. Sometimes does neither.
Yeah, I thought Finn Russell was quite casual in the way he was striding back there, but it was a difficult one. It was a horrible bubble, as the rugby ball can do to you sometimes. But the line out is dealt with, and Scotland managed to clear downfield. Ioane, little shimmy, and then is met by Dave Cherry on the Scotland 10 metre line. Italy with ball in hand for really the first time of any note, as Pasriello spins it away. Garbisi stabs on another little kick. Ioane tries to chase it, and then Russell takes it, and then he tries one out the back door to Darcy Graham, and it goes straight into touch, but probably not the area. I think you're wanting to try that there, but he wasn't far from coming off, in fairness to him. But
yeah, and that's the way he plays, Thomas. That's the sort of guy he is. He just tries the little things, and a lot of the time they come off, and it wasn't that bad a pass. I think it was whoever the player was just didn't expect it to come out.
It was Graham, yeah. Darcy Graham just had a wry smile when it evaded him. He liked the idea. Italy secure the line out. Lamoureux, and now Brex, lovely little ball to his midfield partner, Menoncello tries to force the offload to scrum half Pasriello, and it goes to the ground, and Scotland managed to recover. But that's those menacing Benetton centres combining again for Italy, as they did brilliantly in last year's championship, and that's a little warning sign for Scotland there.
Well, it just highlights how dangerous Italy can be. Again, we haven't really seen too much of them in phase play, but it's that pair again, Menoncello and Brex. They're such a menace. The way they take that ball to a gain line and then throw these late passes, when you sort of shift your shoulders as a defender, you pushed on to the next man, and then all of a sudden the ball's through a hole. They slice Scotland straight down the middle. They get another chance. They've got a scrum just outside the Scottish 22.
Duhan van der Merwe is down, getting some strapping on his ankle or boot, it looks like. He looked okay when he scampered up the left for that second try, but
Yeah, he looked like he was tying his boot, but I don't know if he's maybe went over on it and he's just maybe trying to tighten it up just to give him a bit of stability. But he's had a good start to the game. He's carried a lot. He's done good things with the ball. That's always my kind of concern sometimes. He either scores a try or kind of dives it into a rut when there's guys there to give the options. There was a 2-on-1 the first time he took it in. It was a tough pass, but there was definitely a 2-on-1 there. Didn't quite get it, but eventually Scotland scored for that. So just got to show Italy have not a lot of ball in this first 12 minutes. So Scotland, when they have to defend, just going to defend with accuracy, with discipline. Tough against an Italian back division that's really, really adventurous.
Yeah, we're going to get the game's first scrum. Scotland were second best for success rate in the championship last year. Italy are going to have the put in. Pajrelo feeds it in, and the nines, of course, with the law change, with a bit of extra protection. The opposite nine can't cross the middle of the scrum, and then they come left through the hands. And Scotland do their defending, and then Ben White pinches it at the ruck. Brilliant turnover from the scrum half, and he lashes it downfield with the right boot, and it bounces into touch, and the chance is gone for Italy. Sharp play from the Scotland scrum half, Ben White.
Very sharp, and actually Italy getting away from their support. There wasn't anyone from the back row there to clear out that ruck. Ben White getting over, nicking that ball and getting Scotland out there 22.
It's a really good point.
Very timely intervention.
25 years of Italy in the Six Nations, of course winning that opening game against Scotland in Rome. Diego de Munez scored 29 points with the boot that day.
No competition, play on.
And Italy as good as they've looked in any of the years since, as they gather the line out. And there's a box kick from Pajrelo short of the 22. Darcy Graham takes it, passes it above Kinghorn's head, but the big fullback takes it, attacks the line, thought about offloading, but he's taken down. And then Russell kicks it down the middle of the pitch. It's gathered by his opposite number, Garbisi, who takes it to the 10 and then puts a really dangerous looking kick in to the 22. Russell has to turn and retrieve it and sends it back once more and clears it into touch just at the 10-metre line.
I'm surprised just how much Italy are actually kicking the ball. They have got a good attack, but they've kicked it a lot, even from sort of first phase. They're trying to put grubber kicks through, chips in behind, and the majority of the kicks have been pretty poor, to be fair. They've not been good kicks. It just surprised me.
15 minutes played, and Scotland's 14, Italy 0 is the scoreline. Italy take that line out, Garbisi now flings it out, and Italy crash it up in the midfield, and Scotland get the penalty at the ruck, holding on, and it's Rory Darge, try scorer already, and the Scotland co-captain causing havoc at the breakdown as Scotland extract that penalty on the 10-metre line in their own half, and this will be a good opportunity for field position. Johnny Beattie.
That's another big penalty for Scotland. Again, Italy from the sideline, their attack looks good, and it has done over the past 2 or 3 seasons, but they've got nobody there again to clear out that ruck. Maybe it's a case there's so many options they don't know who's going to be taking the ball to the gain line and therefore where they need to be. But again, Scotland's desire, simplistic in its nature, is get there, nullify that first threat, get your man the deck, contest, and there 2 men, 8 and 7 on the back of their jerseys, blew there first. Big penalty for Scotland.
Finn Russell booms it up to the 22, and Scotland will have the line out. Well, the breakdown will be a big area for Scotland in the Six Nations. A year ago in the championship they conceded the most penalties, 57, and were awarded the fewest, 27. 12 fewer penalties awarded than any other side, so it was an area of concern.
That just proves that referees hate us,
I knew that was coming.
Yeah, it's the one thing every team tries to work on, their discipline, because it can hurt you so much. Yellow cards, field position.
Yeah, and their line out is taken by Scotland's, and they're into the 22 as the maul is set up. It goes to deck though, and the ball's at the back for Scotland to take. Ben White goes short, and it's set back by Gilchrist. Ben White, one out pass, ruck set up, and now it's Xander Fagerson. Got through a power of work already, the prop. He's driven back on this occasion. White finds Russell, pop pass to Hugh Jones, who tries to force the offload. It's picked up off the deck, and then Italy have it. Juan Ignacio Brex kicks it down the field. And now Stafford McDowell has to go after it, but it's going to trundle into touch just short of Scotland's 22. Well, that was just a bit loose from Scotland. Hugh Jones trying to force the offload.
Just the way Scotland play though, isn't it? They try and get really close to that defence, put the little passes in, and you know, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Finn. That wasn't the time to do that, was it? He tries to do another backward flick. That wasn't the time to do. I'll defend him to the hilt, but on that occasion,
yeah, it didn't work. But the line out does, as Johnny Gray takes it at the front, out to Sander Fagerson, who just bashes an Italian defender off, and then is pulled down. Ben White kicks it just up to the 10-metre line, taken by Ange Cafuozzo, who's playing in the wing position as he does for Toulouse, but he's been more of a fullback for Italy in recent years, as Johnny Gray ends up with the ball between his hands from that kick. And Scotland trying to play out their own half here. Cherry puts the head down and takes contact. Italy with numbers at the ruck, Scotland told to use it. Short to Fagerson.
Hands away now.
Scotland are just between the halfway line and their own 10-metre line at the moment. White takes it back over the 10-metre line as he sets up the kick. Kicks to contest, and it is contested. Cafuozzo went up and it's padded into the middle, more towards the middle of the pitch, and there's a knock-on called against Scotland, and Italy will have the scrum. 14-0 Scotland lead.
Yeah, Scotland kicking a lot as well, but that's, you know, they're obviously trying to not play too much in their own half. That wasn't a great kick, that was one of our poor ones, but they're chasing hard. But I'll tell you what, if you finish the game now on 80 minutes, you would give Zander Fagerson man of the match. He's been outstanding. His carries, I mean, he must be nearly double figures for his carries, and he's making yardage. But, you know, a really positive start, both attack and defence from Scotland.
Yeah, there's an argument certainly that he's Scotland's most irreplaceable player, Zander Fagerson, considering the depth at number 3 position is not huge. Will Hurd on the bench covering that this afternoon for Scotland, and this scrum is put in by Pajrelo, and Cannoni picks it up, the number 8 at the back. Garbisi gives it to scrum half. Now Cafuozzo in off his wing, jinking in the midfield up to the 10-metre line. Scotland defend it. Scotland leading 14-0 against Italy, opening 19 minutes at Murrayfield in this Six Nations match. And Italy have advantage for offside. So we've got free play here, Italy. Drex pulls it back. Now it's Ioane. Dancing feet. Russell takes him down with Cherry around the ankles as well. Pajrelo, Garbisi, quick pass behind from Cannoni to Brex, who forced it on, and Hugh Jones read it and was running under the sticks, but it was advantage being played. So it was Johnny Gray that was offside for Scotland, and Italy will get the chance to get on the board if they want to attempt the kick or get up the field, either one. And we'll see what they're going to decide to do here.
Yeah, and for all the people who think I slag off referees all the time, actually that scrum for me is the way we should referee the scrum. Decent setup, ball got hooked really well, back to the back row's feet, scrums then fold in, nobody's in danger, play on. And that's the best way. No re-scrum, no guessing who's giving away the penalty or not. Just get it back and then let's just play. And that's well done, good management for the referee there.
Italy have opted to go for the posts and get some points on the boards. That's the plan anyway. And it's Tommaso Allen, the fullback, former Scotland under-20 international, lines up the kick. He's just short of the 10-metre line, so it's a big distance, but it's pretty central, and he is a quality kicker. Italy's record Six Nations point scorer. And here he goes with the right boot. It's got the distance, and it's between the posts, and Italy are on the boards. Scotland 14, Italy 3, and that may just settle a few Italian nerves.
Yeah, but I think it's a good sign from Scotland as well, because you would maybe think they would kick it into the corner, try and go for the try. So in a way, they're maybe Italy are a little bit concerned about Scotland's defence. I know it's about putting points on the board and everything like that, but sort of modern rugby, very kind of rarely are teams putting points across the post like that.
And Murrayfield roars because Darcy Graham heard after that kick-off and managed to get a good hit in on Monty Ioane, but Italy have managed to hold on to the ball for now. The winger did well to keep hold of it and set the ruck up. Italy nudge forwards. Scotland get their defensive line sorted, and Martin Pajrello, the Lyon scrum half, kicks down the park onto halfway. Kinghorn takes it but opts not to go for the quick one, and Scotland will have the line out. 14-3, they lead Italy. Live on BBC Radio Scotland and 5 Sports Extra. Scotland's keen to avenge last season's defeat in Rome, and when Italy were here 2 years ago, it was a mighty close game until Kinghorn completed his hat-trick with the clock red, and Darcy Graham is thumped backwards in midfield as it was laid behind for him, and then Italy used that momentum to get in at the ruck, and Scotland off their feet, and Italy have the penalty, and the visitors just starting to build a bit of momentum in this game.
That's a very good defensive read by Italy. Again, this is how Scotland create their spaces. Stafford McDowell, taking the place of Sione Tuipulotu, takes the ball to the gain line, late ball out the back to Finn Russell, and the secondary pass. Normally you create a 3-on-2. There Brex has skipped the whole thing. He's jumped out the line, he's targeted Darcy Graham, got him on the deck, and because Scotland have been caught on the hop, they've then gone off their feet at the breakdown. Very, very nice play. Again, that is your work during the week, your prep. How do you target? How do you take on your opposition? And Italy have read the Scottish backline attack there very, very well.
Yeah, I thought it was actually a penalty against Darcy Graham, because he lets the ball go but then picks it up before he gets back to his feet, and then Dixon penalises Finn Russell for going off his feet for a split second. I guarantee we'll see that same movement that Russell did, we'll see that 10-20 times this game, and he'll let that go.
And Tommaso Allan is feeling confident because this one's a few metres further back from his last one as he attempts to kick. He's not struck it cleanly, but it's got the distance. Brilliant strike. They take that back. What a hit from Tommaso Allan. And in a flash, Italy now with 2 penalties, and it's Scotland 14, Italy 6.
Yeah, and they just know anywhere inside the 50 metre line he's going to potentially have the range and accuracy to make those kicks. So their discipline in that area has got to be really strong.
And Cannone takes the kick off, gets up to the 22. How do Scotland respond with Italy with the last 2 scores, but still 8 points behind as they kick out of their own 22. Kinghorn leaps into the air and claims it, bright green boots, and then Italy hold him up and get white shirts in the breakdown. Lovely offload from Schumann to Darge, then Gray gets it away to Ben White. Now Scotland are moving. Russell over the 10, Darcy Graham in midfield, tackled and then loses the ball forward there. It was an Italian hand pulling it back as he tried to pilfer it at the breakdown. Scotland still have the ball. It's laid back for Ben White. It's all a bit messy at the moment for Scotland as they try and generate some forward momentum. That's good from Dave Cherry, leg drive, then out to Gilchrist, head down. White comes to this near side. Finn Russell looks up, pops it to Blair Kinghorn, takes a dunt from Federico Ruzza. Now it's White and Matt Fagerson taken round the knees, chopped, and Scotland are halted just over their Italian 10 metre line. Fagerson with a clear out, and they go round the corner through Darge, who scored the first try of this game, the Scotland co-captain. White to Johnny Gray, bit of a standing start, but he manages to get up to the gain line. White over to the far side for Russell. Kinghorn, this is where Scotland are dangerous, and this man in particular, Hugh Jones, he's tackled. Now White comes back towards the west stand. Dave Cherry is met by his opposite number, Giacomo Nicotera. Then it's Kinghorn, floats a lovely pass over to Duhan van der Merwe. Little hitch step from the big man, offloads it to Kinghorn, who just about trips over. He's brought down. Darge is looking to get it away quickly. Scotland about 15 metres out. Offload from Gilchrist. Russell goes through a gap and then loses it forward as he was smashed. And Capuozzo's dancing in his own try line. Still going. His kick hits off a blue jersey, and that could have gone anywhere, but the whistle is gone for the knock-on, and a wry smile from Finn Russell. What a chance that was for another Scotland try.
A wonderful cut-out pass by Blair Kinghorn. Allowed Duhan van der Merwe to get that one-on-one with Capuozzo. Bumped him off, offloaded, and Scotland were behind enemy lines. Finn Russell in the end, second, third phase later, just guddles the ball on the 5 metre line. But again, the Scottish backline creating everything. We've seen some hugely physical moments, Peter, in the past. 2-3 minutes of play where Scotland actually are getting battered on the gain line by Italian defenders, but it seems they get real joy whenever they work to space. They generate something as a 3/4 line. That's where they seem sparky.
The Italians are working so hard on their inside defence. They're committing a couple of guys into the tackle, really going for it, and it's hurting Scotland. But when Scotland just show that little bit of composure and get that little bit more width on it, there's acres of space. There's a lot. They're getting a lot of, obviously they're getting a lot of gain in that area. Again, you know, Van der Merwe takes the ball, he takes 2 or 3 defenders on, he gets the offload, and it's just showing that a little bit of composure. And just, it's a brilliant, to be fair, it was a brilliant tackle from the Italians there to stop Finn Russell, because I think if they hadn't hit him that hard, the offload was definitely on for the try, but he hit him so hard that the ball bounced out. So, you know, great defence, but some great attack as well.
Yeah, Italy so abrasive in that pack, particularly that back row of Negri, Lamaro and Canoni, the Benetton trio. Italy scrum on their own 5, put in by Pajrello. It's an even scrum at the moment, and bodies stepping up in the front row now. It's back and cleared, and Italy breathe for a moment, but it's taken by Kinghorn. He's over the 10, little movement out towards this near side, hand off, he's going lateral at the moment, then goes forward and is tackled. Schumann leaves it for the scrum half. White, Xander Fagerson again and again, he gets away from the first tackler. White, Russell, Van der Merwe off his wing to truck up a couple of yards. White back to this near side, offload to Schumann on the gain line. Brilliant hands from Scotland, and then that's a penalty as Italy dive over the ruck and slap it out White's hands. Now Darge busts one tackle and strides forward. Russell as they come left, and then it's dropped by Hugh Jones, and they'll come back for that penalty advantage. And that was just a bit over-eager at the ruck there from Italy. That's breathless stuff. 28 minutes played, Scotland 14, Italy 6.
Yeah, and again, it's just variation from Scotland, isn't it? They're having to do the hard yards, but they're doing it well. Schumann and Xander Fagerson, outstanding. Dave Cherry, all the front 5, in fact, they're just doing really good. Not doing a lot, they're just working really hard, getting the yardage. The next 2 guys in where it's the key, they're the dynamic ones. They're really blowing players away, and then eventually they're creating that opportunity for Scotland backs to come in and attack.
Murrayfield roars because they've kicked up to the 5-metre line, and Dave Cherry, the hooker who must have thought his Scotland career was done after the 2023 World Cup, he's back. Decent showings from Edinburgh over the last month, and he's ready to throw this important line out. He finds Jamie Ritchie at the front, and Scotland are going to maul this. Italy standing their ground at the moment. The referee, Carl Dixon, warning Scotland as they start to go forward now, and Italy hit the deck, and Cherry goes for the short side. The hooker offloads to Ben White, and it's a try! Ben White fist bumps the sky as he scores in the corner, and Scotland's relentlessness in attack proving too much for Italy right now. It is Scotland 19, Italy 6.
Yeah, and they defended it. Initially, Italy defended them all well. And he got it stopped. Scotland managed to get it going again. And then when Cherry broke off to the blind side, I thought, oh, you're going to get isolated here. But he's managed to just get a lovely wee, oh, what a wee offload. He's actually got it out the back of his hand. He's done Finn Russell, but at least his went to the hand where Finn Russell's haven't. Great try.
And what I enjoy about that is you can see the maul is set up towards the 50-metre line and actually try and work their way in. You can see Finn Russell and Darcy Graham are arcing also to come blindside. So Cherry knows that's where his support is. Not only Ben White, but players in behind. So he's got the confidence in himself, with the skill set, but knowing the players are there and he can throw that offload. Well done.
Russell tries to bend it in from the touchline, but the flag stayed down, so it remains Scotland 19, Italy 6. Well, I gave Dave Cherry a big build-up for that line-out. Finds the target, and not only that, gets involved and flicks one out the back door for Ben White to score.
Yeah, and Townsend said during the week that the reason they're bringing Cherry in is purely for this, what he's doing. He carries hard, his set piece is good. You know, he did that little break, that he had the skill just to put it out the back door and score and give the pass to White for the try. So he's doing everything that Townsend asked him.
Hugh Jones tries to dance out of trouble from that kick-off. Ruck formed, and it's Schumann. Took it standing still and has lost a couple of yards. As Scotland will try and clear it now, but Nicotera is in there trying to do as much damage at the ruck as possible. And it's cleared by Ben White, and about down to just short of halfway, and Italy will have the line out.
I only couldn't say yes.
Italy,
I said yes.
you could see the emotion from them in the
The ball's out.
anthem, some tears, but they'll be a bit stunned maybe that what's been hit them so far in this opening half hour.
I don't think I'd expect Scotland to start like the way they did, but interesting there, the Italians are screaming at the ball's out, and referee's saying, yeah, I agree, the ball's out, but none of them then went for the ball. They just stood there and argued about it.
And there's a knock on as Capozzo couldn't take it, and Stafford McDowell's going after this, but Garbisi's the favourite. He pounces on it. McDowell lets him get to his feet. He's trying to drive it over his own try line. I think he's managed it as well. He has. Superb stuff from Scotland, pouncing on an Italy error. Italy at 6s and 7s, and it is the home side with their tails up at the moment.
All very loose from Italy as well. First phase play, pass out the back to Capozzo, hits his shoulder. Finn Russell with a hack through. Stafford McDowell with a work rate again. Big man chases Garbisi down, picks him up. The farmer strength he shows as well to drag him back over the try line. And now, righty, Scotland, the perfect opportunity again to go for a fourth try. Scrum right on the left hand side of the post on the 5 metre line. You split the defensive line. Big chance again for Scotland.
Yeah, if you get good solid scrummage ball here, you can't say anything but a try. But that's another good thing with McDowell there. A lot of players get too excited at that point and they dive down on the ball player, not allowing him to come up, but McDowell let him come up and then drove him back over the try line.
Yeah, kept a clear head as well as used all his power. Stafford McDowell now Scotland with a 5 metre scrum, but the referee is unhappy with how it was formed there as Steve Cherry picks himself off the turf. He was face down,
Make
but
sure we keep the height, both players, please. Here we go. Let's go again. Quick reset.
and the referee just giving his instructions to the front row. But Scotland all of a sudden a brilliant attacking platform to get a bonus point already in the first half.
Yeah, I mean they've got into gear very quickly, Thomas, and the Italians haven't. You know, that's a good Italian team, but they just haven't started to play at all. There's no rhythm to their game. Too much kicking, in my opinion. They just haven't got onto the front foot, whereas Scotland have continually been on the front foot.
Second attempt at this scrum, it's clean this time. Matt Ferguson's got it at his feet, but as he lost control, it's gone down again, and I'm not sure what the referee makes of this one.
Move across again.
He's
Here we go. I'll come
going to move the mark as well along a bit.
Let's go again.
I don't know, Peter, you're the expert. I didn't see an awful lot wrong with that.
No, I think that he refereed it well. Again, the ball got to the back, the scrums went in, play on, but I thought Ferguson was fortunate because he lost control, and it looked like the Italian boy was going to pounce on it because it looked like it had rolled out, but the referee just blew his whistle in time to reset the scrum. The problem is now that he's now reset 2, and referees have it in their mind, can I really afford to reset a third one? I've got to make a decision on the third one.
Big scrum, 34 minutes, Scotland 19, Italy 6. Scotland put in on Italy's 5 metre line. Here we go, third attempt, and Scotland are going to try and come round the corner through Matt Ferguson. He's in front of the sticks, he's stopped 5 metres short. Now it's Johnny Gray who picks up, gives it to Schumann, crashes between 2 defenders, and he's brought to the grass. Bodies everywhere at this ruck, and Negri told to roll away, and he gets to his feet and evacuates swiftly. Scotland's not making any yardage at the moment, as it's all very slow and stuffy. White to Gray, quick hands to Matt Ferguson. Matt Ferguson, and now the penalty comes to Italy. Big defensive moment for the Italians. Matt Ferguson penalised for holding on, and that is a chance gone for Scotland and a huge relief for Italy.
Always think in that situation, and I know it's how down to the quality of the ball, but always think in that situation, scrum 5, they've got to get width on the attack. You know, where teams defend really solidly is just right next to the scrum, next to the breakdown, next to the, and they just didn't quite. I thought Ferguson had a chance to put a pass in, they just didn't quite get it.
I know there's a 13-point gap already, but this is where in that scenario, 5 metres out, South Africa would score. You know, they would just be killing the game off and it'd be a foregone conclusion. There, Scotland, really, you got your foot on their throats, kill the game. Bonus point before half time, it's there.
Credit Paolo Garbisi, it was him who put his head where it hurts to win that turnover, the Italian fly half.
use
As
it,
Matt
please.
Fagerson was penalised for holding on, and now Italy have the ball in their own half. Box kick from Pajrelo. Up in the air, Darcy Graham comes, can't collect it. It emerges with Schumann, the Scotland prop, with the ball in his hands. And it's given to Darge, and then it's spilled forwards. And it's all very messy and knock on by both sides. But Scotland first, I think it was Jamie Ritchie actually. And it will be a scrum to Italy, just short of the Scotland 10 metre line. I think Jamie Ritchie's taking a real sore one in the mouth there by the look of it. He's
No need a break. Come on.
I'm sure if he's just embarrassed because he dropped the ball off and there was actually contact and we're not getting to see the replay. It was the French director that's directing this one. Just you know what they're like. Oh, here it comes now. I'm not sure if there was shoulder contact on the head there or not. Close, it was close like.
Yeah, it's Nico Terra who goes in with the shoulder. We're seeing a replay. I'm not sure.
I don't think it is. It's very, very close, but I don't think
it might be on the arm, and then the ball pops out. But as soon as the crowd see it, obviously they're a little oohs and ahs. But
a stat's just popped up on my screen. Tackles made by Scotland 25, Italy 102, with 11 of them dominant. But I mean, the work they're having to get through, that is exhausting.
That was what they did last year in Rome as well. They put in so many tackles, the numbers were astronomical, and they managed to get the job done. And Scotland with a decent lead at the moment, but Italy looking to hit back. Brex to Menoncello, and then to Allen, who met that at pace. Italy about 30 metres out from the try line on this near side. Garbisi now going into space. Cannone held up by Schumann and Darcy Graham, and it's Brex at first receiver, gives it to Menoncello. Menoncello tackled well, and the referee blows a whistle. He's unhappy with something. It's the penalty advantage was being played, so another chance perhaps for Tommaso Allen to kick some points, given the last two he banged over from distance. We'll see what Michele Lamaro does here, and indeed he has decided to back his fullback and kicker to go for the points here. But to your point, Johnny Beattie, just as you say, Scotland with a 5 metre scrum. I mean, they've scored 3 brilliant tries, they've been excellent, but it's those moments, isn't it? You're on their 5 metre line with ball, and then suddenly you're down the other end and they've got a chance to put 9 points on the board.
Yeah, and that's the big challenge for Scotland in this championship, is that they created all those opportunities again against South Africa, but couldn't convert, and we let South Africa, back-to-back world champions, off the hook on our home patch. Here against Italy, you have to put them to the sword. You have to get the game out of sight and bury them, and that is going to be throughout the championship. Can we be ruthless? Can we take our points, and can we win these tie games?
Allen with the right boot on the 10 metre line. It's another beautiful strike which bisects the post. He's red hot off the tee, Tommaso Allen, and he brings Italy to 9, and it's a 10-point game. Scotland 19, Italy 9.
Yeah, you know what, if Italy turn around 19-9 down at half time, I think they'll take it with both hands. They've been way by a country mile the second best team. They've created nothing in attack really. Scotland probably have left maybe a couple of tries, maybe certainly one, but maybe a couple of tries on the pitch. So at half time, Italy shouldn't be in, I don't think should be in the game, but are still in it with 30 seconds to go.
Yep. Last play probably before the half-time whistle. Scotland 10 points to the goods. Italy nudge out of their 22. Pajrelo to Negri, who is such a big carrying threat for Italy. Scotland's put a shot in. Jamie Ritchie making a nuisance of himself, and a counter-up comes in from Cherry and Fagerson, and then Italy get it back to Garbisi, and he decides enough is enough for this first half. A positive first half for Scotland as they head for the sheds. 3 tries from Darge, Jones and White have them in control of this game, but the boot of Tommaso Allen has kept Italy in touch. 3 really nice penalties struck from distance has kept them to within 10 points of Scotland at half-time. At Murrayfield in this opening Six Nations game for Scotland, it is Scotland 19, Italy 9.
Scotland versus Italy.
They're over the line, it's a marvellous score!
Scotland in the Six Nations.
What a
The Six Nations, live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
I think that's one of the most beautiful songs.
Ever feel like you just missed out on something amazing? With BBC Sounds, you can ask most smart speakers to rewind what you're listening to. Just say, ask BBC Sounds to rewind 5 minutes.
It's another country here with Mira Heroes. We have many, many harmonies on the show tonight, but this is beautiful.
So you never miss a thing again. Get more from your smart speaker with BBC Sounds.
Sports Sound Rugby on BBC Radio Scotland and 5 Sports Extra with me, Andy Burke. Scotland versus Italy in round 1 of the Six Nations, and at half-time here at Murrayfield, it's Scotland who lead by 19 points to 9. France and Wales kicked off the championship last night, and the French underlined their status as title favourites with a thumping victory, 43 points to 0 in Paris. Defending champions Ireland take on England in Dublin after this. What a cracker that'll be. Chris Jones and the team are standing by at the Aviva Stadium to bring you live coverage of that one for our listeners on 5 Sports Extra. Here at Murrayfield, Thomas Duncan, Johnny Beattie and Peter Wright have been describing the first half action as Scotland have outscored Italy by 3 tries to 0, but Tommaso Allen's boot has kept the Italians in touch. Tom English is with us also. Tom, 10-point lead for Scotland at the break. I think we would have all taken that, but maybe get in with a sense it could have been more.
Yeah, it could have been. Absolutely, it could have been. But I'm delighted with the way Scotland are playing. I'm not so delighted that Tommy Allen, every time he gets a chance, he bangs it over the bar.
Striking it well, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, so they're 9 points. They haven't really got close to scoring a try, Italy. Every time Scotland get ball in hand in the Italy half, they look dangerous. So I'm really, the intensity, as the boys are saying in commentary, the intensity from the get-go from Scotland and the accuracy was outstanding. Surprisingly so, actually. First game of the Six Nations, you kind of wouldn't expect that, but they were brilliant. Darge was everywhere. Dave Cherry was excellent. Schoolman and Fagerson, outstanding. It was a really solid performance from Scotland. Better than solid. It was an exceptional performance. 3 excellent tries. They could have had 1 or 2 more. So, yeah, look, 10 points, but there's a couple of things here. We know that Italy have an incredible spirit because they've done Scotland from being behind before.
Yep, last time out.
But at the same time, when I see Scotland attacking, they look very convincing. That flat passes, flat to the line. Van der Merwe and Darcy Graham are both getting heavily involved. There's menace all the way through the Scotland team, so I'm comfortable enough.
The Six Nations has got a galaxy of stars, Tom. Finn Russell, Roman Intimate, Marcus Smith, but leave it to Dave Cherry to pull out the best bit of skill we're likely to see in the entire championship.
I mean, he was having a brilliant game before that.
He was, yeah.
You know, his arrows are just excellent, and that's obviously why he's in the team. But he's given more around the field than I thought he was capable of, and I certainly didn't think he was giving one out the back door under pressure for a try. I mean, it was a brilliant moment. Ben White ran over and kissed his bald head. No, as he fully deserved that kiss. It was a brilliant try. Cherry has been a revelation so far.
Well, the tight 5, as you've said in commentary, Peter, and as Tom's just alluded to there, the tight 5 have all got through a mountain of work and really set the platform out there.
Yeah, I mean, what disappoints me is that it's a surprise that a front row guy has got that sort of skill set.
I've never seen a front row man with skill set before in the history of Scottish rugby.
I would have to say it, and this is dead honest, dead straight faced. If it wasn't for the front 5, Scotland would be getting beaten 9-0. Because the front, if you think about all the tries they've scored, it's been Fagerson, Schumann, Gray, Cherry and Gilchrist that have made all the yards in the middle of the pitch, that have put that Italian defence on the back foot, which then have allowed the back row and the backs to claim all the glory, and that's the way rugby should. That's the way rugby should be. The front 5 do the hard work, and then the back. I remember Johnny Beattie scoring a try down the left wing in Ireland, right down that left wing.
He doesn't like to talk about it.
After the front 5 had made all the yards
Still
to give him that.
out on that moment, lads. Still here.
I don't like to talk about it.
But that's what they get paid to do, and that first 40 minutes, that's as good a 40 minutes as I've seen a Scotland front 5 play for a long time, because all 5 of them are making yards, are really contributing really, really hard to it, and allowing the back row and the backs to play with a little bit more width. And you see we've scored a try on one wing, we've got a winger scoring a try, we've got a centre scoring a try, and that's the way the game of rugby should be played.
Right, that's enough praise for the tight five. Plenty of time devoted to them. Talk to us about a back row man, Johnny Beattie. Rory Darge, he's got his try, got through a lot of carries, couple of big turnovers. He's putting on a good performance out there.
He's been everywhere. And look, it's game one, but it's a Lions year, and like as a back row it is more competitive than it's ever been. You look across the talent, what he's competing against, it's an enormous task, but if he keeps going the way he's going, you're in with a shout. I mean, he's so quick to the breakdown, his body position's phenomenal. He's going to have to oust some other outrageously good sevens in the competition to get a spot, but he's putting himself in the shop window. He's getting to the breakdown first. He's so hard to shift. And actually the bits we don't talk about his game, we know how good he is in the collision area, the jackling, but it's actually the next bit in attack as well. You see him picking, going, grabbing 2-3 metres around the corner, pirouetting, offloading, all these little bits of nuance that he's developing in his game. He's tremendous. Like, he's great to watch, physical, abrasive, and he's getting better and better with the more game time he picks up. So tremendous first half for him and for the Scottish side. I would caveat that with we've seen absolutely nothing from Italy. They were abject in that first half, and we know how good they can be. 10 points, is that going to be enough? I don't know, but Italy are probably going to come out and show something different in the second period and be much tougher to break down. So tremendous first half. A little bit disappointed they didn't maybe get a couple extra, which is maybe a little bit greedy, but you just don't know that we're ever home and dry, and therefore that's where this next second half is going to be huge. And right, he's talked about the tight five. I thought some of the physicality by the Italian pack during that first period was ridiculous as well, battering us on the game line. We had to shift the point of contact to find space and find those edges to allow our three quarters to fly, and therefore the second half is going to be a big test on our bench, our depth, our physical prowess. How good can we be? We'll see, but a massive second half coming up.
Yeah, Tom, you've got to expect some sort of reaction from Italy, and 10 points is a dangerous scoreline. The memories of Rome are still fresh in the mind when Italy did come back, and if Italy come back and score first in the second half, then you just know this Murrayfield crowd will start to get a little edgy.
Yeah, and I think 12 months ago, I think Scotland kind of fell asleep on their lead, and they weren't expecting Italy to come back at them, but they did. And as soon as they did, Italy noticed the weakness in Scotland's psychology, and they took advantage of it. I think Scotland have to put this game to bed. Johnny made a point about South Africa, that last try, that South Africa would have nailed that 4 tries. They would have just done it, because they are ruthless. They are a ruthless machine. Scotland aren't that, but they need to be ruthless in the second half. They need to put this game to bed in the first 20 minutes, because if they don't, I'd be worried that Italy, with their indomitable spirit, and we've seen it last season, will come back at them, and this will become a very unpleasant last 10 minutes.
When a guy's kicking as beautifully as Tommaso Allan is, Peter, you need to tighten up on the discipline.
Yeah, it's crucial, and I said that in commentary. He's going to kick any inside your own half, and to give away penalties there. And I think Scotland's discipline has been pretty decent, actually. They've given away 3 that he's kicked, but overall I think their discipline has been pretty good. I think the breakdown, which is sometimes a problem for Scotland, it's the usual. See, if you're on the front foot of the breakdown, you don't give away penalties. And Scotland, for the majority of that first half, were on the front foot. But I agree 100% with Tom and with Johnny that Italy are good. They will have a bit of domination, and if they get on that front foot and get on a roll, they could certainly hurt Scotland. So it's the old cliches, first score is really important, making sure you don't give them easy field position by giving away soft penalties, all of that, but ultimately if Scotland can play with the same tempo as they did in the first half, they've got a good chance of winning this game.
The sign of a mature Scotland team is that they come out and they score 1 or 2 tries in the first 15-20 minutes and the game is done. They just squeeze the life out of Italy, give them nothing, give them no hope, no optimism. They just do a job on them. I'm fascinated to see what Scotland do in the first 20.
Well, a start like they came out the blocks in the first half, Johnny, we would take that again in the second half, wouldn't we?
Of course we would. Of course we would. And again, I think there's more. We talked about how fantastic the first half was in the tries, but I think you also have to look at how is that created off field. I think 2 of them were almost training park moves where they've generated opportunities. Like, once this game gets into an arm wrestle, you get into multi-phase, it becomes about physicality, moving the ball and creating space by yourself. So that's where, again, Italy, once they get ball in hand, they will have phases, and Scotland will have to weather those storms, defensively stand up. I look down the team sheet as well. Wrighty's talked about it, but Xander Ferguson, how good has he been in that first period? You know, like if he goes off, Will Hurd, is the scrum going to... We've had 2 scrum penalties already, but Will Hurd, can he stand up and dominate a scrum and keep us in the game, or does that allow penalties? There's all these little bits that will come as this game goes on and wears, that I'm looking forward to seeing how they evolve. But as Tom mentioned, if you're going to be dominant, you have to go out, stamp your authority in the game with your physicality and create more opportunities and finish them.
Johnny mentioned the huge tackle numbers, Peter, in the first half that Italy were having to make, and you kind of hope maybe that'll tell and you'll wear them down and you'll get your rewards in the final quarter. But I think Thomas made the point as well, they went through a huge number of tackles in Rome last season and they came on strong and finished the game stronger. So you still need to make it count. It's not just going to happen.
Yeah, I think that Italian tackle counts more than most probably fly halves make in their whole career. But it's just the way the game's going now, isn't it? It's you know, there's so many tackles you've got to make, and it's really it's easy in the sense that you don't have to put a lot of thought into it, but physically it's so exhausting, and if you're having to do it over and over and over again, the problem is then when you transition into attack is that you're pretty fatigued, so it's quite hard to then get yourself into a good attacking shape, a good attacking position, and then you start to try things maybe in attack that you don't want to try. And I just wondered the couple of times that they got ball. I think I looked at the clock, and about the first 12 minutes I think Scotland had the ball for the whole of the first 12 minutes, and the first couple of times Italy got the ball, they kicked it, and it was almost like they were fatigued, didn't have anything in place because they wanted to work so hard in defence. So if Scotland can keep that up, keep making them work, it just makes Italy's transition into attack just a little bit harder, a little bit more complicated.
And we'll see if they've learned the lessons from last season. Last season, in the third quarter of their Six Nations games, on average, they ranked 5th out of 6th in points scored. In the final quarter, they ranked 6th out of 6 in points scored. So they need to be more ruthless. And that's that. This game is, you know, even though Scotland are 3-0 up, this game was on the balance here. You know, this is let's not kid ourselves here. Scotland look very ruthless, they look very dangerous in attack, but this is on the edge.
He always finds a way to bust their bubble, doesn't he? Always finds a way. Second worst attackers and worst attackers.
Well, I'm speaking from gnarled experience. I mean, me lauding Scotland last season in Rome. Oh, this game is done. Yeah. I look like a right dummy that day.
Tom's so
on most other days, to be fair.
Tom's so attached to that stat because they put it directly to Gregor Townsend last season, and Gregor shot him down. But
yeah, who was right in the end?
You were right in the end, Tom. You were right in the end. This is a big 40 minutes, Peter, in the context of Scotland's entire championship. As Tom says, go out, do a job, put Italy away, then the confidence starts to grow. If you make a mess of it, struggle to go over the line, or God forbid you don't go over the line, then it's hugely damaging. Huge second half coming up.
Yeah, and Neil will be looking at next week, but we look at next week, because if you lose today, your next game's against Ireland, which is one of the toughest in the championship. So you've got that to look at. And then if you lose your first game, it's a home game, so you've then got to try and do something and get yourself back in the championship. So that over the years, how many times have we lost that first game? It's really hurt us. When we win the first game, it just keeps everybody buoyed, and then we go into that Irish game, real confidence next Sunday, knowing that if we win that, we're really heading towards a good championship.
Well, plenty of rugby to be played before then. This is Sports Sound Rugby on BBC Radio Scotland and 5 Sports Extra. Scotland versus Italy in round 1 of the Six Nations. Scotland leading at half-time by 19 points to 9. The teams are back out for the second half. So let's hand back to our commentary team of Johnny Beattie, Peter Wright and Thomas Duncan.
Thanks, Andy. Now, the TV pictures we've got the benefit of looking at, so it showed us John Dalziel, Scotland forwards coach, getting stuck into them at half-time in terms of trying to rouse them up, keep the levels high, as Finn Russell prepares to kick off the second half. What Italy are we going to see? The one that rocked up back end of last year's championship, 2 wins and a draw to finish, or the Italy of the first half, and the one that kind of struggled through the autumn, almost losing to Georgia, getting thumped by Argentina, and also losing to the All Blacks? We are about to find out as Italy try and set things up in their own half. Scotland went a bit shorter with the restart, and it's really messy at the breakdown. Italy play it out short. and
Thank you. Use it, please.
looking to set up a chance to clear this into Scotland territory, and they do. Well, it's a shorter kick. Kinghorn comes from deep, gets up really well. The Scotland fullback takes it out the sky, and now Ben White, and Scotland moving to this near side. Darge weaves the hips and tries to make some metres. Here's Stafford McDowell, fizzes it to Duhan van der Merwe, tries to go on the outside of Menoncello, and his feet are in touch now, but he released the ball just in time into Darge, who's met on the halfway line by Nicotera, the hooker. Cherry now Skuman over the halfway line, and White. Gilchrist, that's brilliant from Gilchrist, moved away from one and spotted a little gap and moved Scotland over the halfway line. Here's Russell, flat ball for Darcy Graham on this near side, about 6 metres in from the touchline. Graham rolls and presents the ball for Ben White. Sander Fagerson burrows round as Italy hold him up. White, little scissors movement and gives it to van der Merwe from a standing start. Shrugs off Menoncello, but he managed to get him around the ankles. Fagerson again, almost through a hole, gives it to Gilchrist. Now Schumann, and Cherry goes over the top, and a little pop inside ball for Darcy Graham, but it doesn't go to hand. What a chance that was. The space was there for Scotland on the inside. Now Italy playing advantage from the knock on. Those are the little moments that could be crucial in this game. Italy clear it down the field. It bounces a couple of times and Blair Kinghorn takes it, long stride, little hitch kick, gets thumped on halfway, manages to get the ball away. Now Russell has it, puts the spiral in, and Allen collects on the full in his 22, doesn't call the mark, goes with the right boot, and it's not a great kick from Tommaso Allen. He's just kicked that over the 10, and Scotland will have the line out.
Yeah, it's a good start to the second half, apart from the first breakdown. It must have been about 30 seconds. I forgot this 5 second rule. But yeah, again, Scotland, Fagerson at the 4 again, Zander carrying ball, Gilchrist, Schumann, great break for Gilchrist. I think give a little offload to Schumann, and then great ball, quick ball, and a little back inside pass to Darcy Graham. I think that went to hand, or have scored. I don't know why it never went to hand. The Italian boy got into it, but just up to tempo. But the only downside is you can't have all this territory and pressure and no come away with points. That's the problem.
Again, it was a 50-50. He's gone to Darcy Graham on the inside ball. Darcy's absolutely guddled it, dropped the ball with no real pressure. He would have been straight under the post, but actually the good work in unlocking that defensive line by the forwards. Interplay again, Gilchrist, Skuman, everything they've done. Then actually had a 4-man overlap on the outside as well. So either way the damage was done. They just have to convert these opportunities. The end of the first period didn't quite stick. There's another one. If they're going to shoot these shots, they have to stick.
Italy make a change. Federico Ruzza is replaced by Nicolo Canone in the second row. So both Canone brothers on the park now for Italy. Scotland get the line out off the top. Flat ball into midfield. White away to Fagerson. Good tackle around the ankles from Fischetti, the loose head. White was scragged as he tried to get the pass away, and Italy getting energy from defence as they clatter Scotland and win the penalty at the breakdown.
It's more of what we saw in the first period by Italy. It was a little bit readable by Scotland how they set up their pods. They wanted to try and manipulate the defensive line, but Italy, they're not waiting around. That was ridiculously good line speed off the line. The ball handling by Scotland, passes above their heads. Matty Fagerson's just been absolutely boomed. Italy in over the breakdown, they pick the ball away, penalty for them. Great defensive set for Italy.
It was Tommaso Menoncello, the thumping hit, last season's player of the tournament, the 22-year-old Benetton player. I think he put in more dominant hits of anyone in the tournament last year, and that was another one. And it gives Allen the opportunity to make it a 7-point game.
And again, the context of the game, Righty, we've just spoken about those 2 opportunities that have slipped away from Scotland that they didn't convert. Now Italy, one defensive set, another penalty. I know they're not running in tries, but they're keeping themselves in this game.
The problem is, if they're in the game, that puts mentally pressure onto Scotland. and it just takes an error when they're within 7 to bring them right back level. So yeah, not what we wanted. It's a good start, but to not execute points for ourselves, disappointing.
And Allen does what he's done all afternoon so far and slots it. It drifted slightly to the right, but nowhere near enough to evade the sticks. And it is now Scotland 19, Italy 12 in the Six Nations on BBC Radio Scotland and 5 Sports Extra, as Russell chips it over the 10, and it's taken cleanly in the air by Minincello. And Italy now with their tails up, and this was the template of sorts for Italy for the win in Rome last season, when the boot of Garbisi was so influential. As Russell collects that kick in his own half, Kinghorn dancing but taken down. Ben White goes digging and fizzes it out to this near side, and Scotland coming down the right. Darcy Graham steps inside, he's tackled, but they've made good metres there, Scotland. Now Johnny Gray thought about giving it to Xander Fagerson but didn't. Italy really putting in some ferocious hits in defence, and White's going to kick it from the base of this rock, and Allen's underneath it, as is Graham, and it's lost. And Ritchie, Scotland's back rower, emerges with the ball. Now Schoeman, Russell going across the pitch, looks for the short pass, interception, and Brex is going to go under the sticks. Juan Ignacio Brex is going to score for Italy. It's disastrous from Scotland, and Italy are right back in this game. A try and the chance to go level with a conversion to come under the sticks. What a moment for Italy. And Juan Ignacio Brex, Scotland 19, Italy 17, conversion to come.
That's exactly what Finn Russell can do. He was caught in two minds, I think. He was going to kick, he looked like he was going to kick, then he tries to make the pass. It's not even, I mean, Hugh Jones is actually not even in the right position for that pass. But that's what you get for Russell. He makes these 9 times out of 10 those decisions are the best ones. He just kind of got it wrong. He got caught between kicking and passing, and unfortunately he didn't do the right one, and they intercepted and bring them right back into the game.
We've been absolutely crucified again by an Italian defensive effort there. You have to applaud a blitz defence that's coming off the line, that's in between attackers, and when you're indecisive like that, you're in between two minds and you let the ball go, you get punished. There we go, Italy right back into the game, 19 apiece.
And I think sometimes we've got to be a bit more pragmatic. We're 10 points up at half time. We're playing, absolutely, in this half here, play the game in the middle of the Italian half. But once we get back to our own half, think about banging it into corners. You've got Kinghorn's got a good boot, Russell's got a good boot. Put it back, let's see what the Italians can bring back to us.
Italy's character has been tested and they've passed with flying colours now. It's about a test of Scotland's character, having scored 3 tries to Italy's 1, but we're level at 19-all, and a cheap try to give away. Brilliant read by Brex, gambled, and the reward is a try under the post. Good take from Kinghorn on Italy's 10 as the kick went up. Xander Fagerson bumps off one, he's taken down, and then Italy compete at the ruck, but Scotland still have the ball. Gilchrist up to the 10-metre line. Scotland without much go forward at the moment in this second half, and Ben White goes himself round the corner, sets it up. Johnny Gray picks up, and the fans getting involved from the stands. Matt Fagerson, now it's Starge round the corner, snapped round the ankles, and Italy just throwing everything in, emptying themselves in defence. Fagerson, he's a bit isolated and he's pushed back. Italy dealing with these one-up runners fairly comfortably, and Nicotera tries to win the turnover, doesn't manage to do it. This Scotland clear. Schumann, now Scotland move it over to the far side. Matt Fagerson, Xander Fagerson offers himself again, and Scotland go to the backs. Lovely hands, Kinghorn, long pass to Darcy Graham on the right wing, not much space to work with, steps inside one, outside 2 tackles now, into the 22, brilliant from Darcy Graham, flat pass for Schumann who comes from deep, needs support, and then the advantage is being played, knock on by Italy. Ritchie in the middle of the pitch, tackled. Murrayfield roars because Scotland are in the 22. Van der Merwe can't get the offload away. White to Gray, tries to go over the top, and then the advantage will come back because it was knocked forward as Gray tried to force the offload over the top. Hate him, scare him stuff, sparked by Darcy Graham.
When they play the advantage, Scotland try and put a bit of width out. Capuzzo comes right. He must have been about 5 or 6 metres offside away on the wing, which denies Scotland that right to play with width. That for me is a yellow card. That's out and out a blatant professional foul. It comes back for the advantage, obviously, but that for me was even more blatant than the one before it. But a good reply from Scotland. Got the bludgeoned, but eventually they created a little bit of space. Darcy Graham showed great feet to get beyond a tackle. And again, you would argue they should have maybe finished that off with a try.
Scotland shun the opportunity to go for the posts. They've gone for the corner. Cherry throws the dart into the line out. It's taken by Matt Fagerson. The ball is sacked by Italy, and Scotland won't get the chance to rumble with the forwards. Out towards the posts. Cherry at the back of the rock. Away now to Gray. And Scotland round the corner, 5 metres out in front of the sticks. They go left. Italy, huge defensive effort as Darge has a snipe round the rock. Italy with numbers in there, and they've come away with it. Brilliant. I think it was Nicotera in there. And now they kick it down the field, and Scotland are back scrambling. Darcy Graham facing his own post, and it bounces on the grass and skips out. And there'll be a Scotland line out now, down in their own half. And another chance for Scotland to really get hit back against Italy goes as the Italians, so efficient at the rock there, pounced on their opportunity.
Seen the breakdown here. He's rubbish at the breakdown, Dixon, at times. That's a penalty for me. He's the second man in. He's lying on the ruck. That's an absolute disgraceful decision from Dixon. The Italian player's lying on the ruck, and then he then decides to put his hands out and scoop it up. That's what you get from an ex-player trying to be a referee. Doesn't referee it the way a referee should. Poor decision. That's the worst. He's been good, actually, and that's an absolutely dreadful. That's not only a penalty, that's a yellow card.
I agree with you. The one thing I want to ask you though is, I completely agree with you. He's off his feet. It's his second dabble at the ball. All of the above. I agree. Take one step back. If you're Scotland, 19-all, you not just take 3 points in front of the sticks and make it easy.
Yeah, you probably should get in the lead again. Get in the lead and make them chase the game.
Jack Dempsey, Rory Sutherland and Ewan Ashman are all on for Scotland as Richie Schumann and Cherry make way. Italy made a change in that period as well, as Scotland managed to secure the line out and kick it downfield. It's taken by Monteirani. It is a compelling Six Nations match. Scotland 19, Italy 19, and Italy are going from deep here. Minancello, he's got Brex outside him, can't find him, it's lost forwards, and a chance snuffed out, but that was danger there for Scotland. Italy moved it out wide and went for it.
It's loose again by Scotland. It's a box kick by Ben White that's too far. You've overstretched your kick line, and therefore Monteirani has time and space on the ball. He can crab across, he can fend Stafford McDowell, and he can create absolute chaos, which he has done. Italy got the whole way up to Scotland's 40 from an exit on the halfway line. I mean, that is just loose. Scotland need to tighten this game, get a grip on the fundamentals and pressurise Italy.
It's about winning it now, isn't it? As you say, you're 19-all. It's all about winning the game. So to win the game, you've got to be in the lead. So get yourself in the lead and then come back again and look for the bonus point try.
Blues first.
Scotland did pass up an opportunity. Kickable penalty, went for the corner, didn't pay off. Kicked long, and Capuozzo leaps and takes it. The flying Toulouse wing playing at Murrayfield for the first time. That's a mess at the back of the ruck, and Ben White's trying to hack it round the corner down the blind side, but Scotland have it. Spun by White on the floor to Gilchrist, out the back to Russell, and it's so scrappy and sloppy and loose from Scotland. Russell gets to his feet, he's slipping all over the place. Brilliant step though, as he manages to evade a tackle or two. Eventually he's brought to the ground. White goes to the short side and Van der Merwe. Now it's with Ashman in the 5 metre channel on the far side. Scotland's coming back in field now. Xander Fagerson still offering, still carrying, still going, and then there's a bit of confusion as to who's taking this. Russell wants it, thinks about the kick, gives it to Kinghorn. Little step, offload over the top. Now it's Stafford McDowell, goes to deck, and there is a knock on from Scotland, and another period of possession comes to nothing as Italy's defence triumphs once more.
It's a late tackle on Finn Russell. It's an absolute shocker. It should be a yellow card as well. And I'll go back to, I've just been thinking about that decision that he let go. I would argue at this level of rugby, that's possibly one of the worst decisions I've ever seen in international rugby. The fact that he was lying on the ball, holding it, he lost it, and then he stay there lying, grabbed it a second time and lifted it up. That, for an international referee to miss that, in my opinion, that should be enough for it to be struck off for the rest of the championship.
It was a late tackle.
Never short of a strong view, Peter, right?
I know I'm just being a tube, but it was at this level, that's a poor decision.
Thank you, mate.
And here is the late hit on Russell. It's just a bump really, but he has time to stop, you would argue there.
There's no arms in the tackle as well, so it's late and there's no arms. I think if he had actually tackled him, he'd have probably got away with it.
But the penalty is given to Scotland, and it means they can kick up to just inside the Italy 22, and you can hear the roar of the Murrayfield crowds. Excitement and nerves. Italy having battled back, now level at 19-all, 54 and a half minutes on the clock.
And the other thing I would maybe say as well, there's only 55 minutes gone. I thought Schoeman is playing really, really well, so I'm not sure why take him off at the moment. Sutherland's a good player, but I don't think he has I don't think he carries with the same physicality that Schoeman does.
Line out is effective again for Scotland, and here is Rory Sutherland.
Yeah, although
hearing Peter Wright's words echoing in his ears, he gets over the gain line. And here is Ben White away to Xander Fagerson, who never stops. Here is Sutherland, the replacement loosehead. Breaks and helped by a teammate in there, and Italy pinch it at the ruck. It's Fischetti again, the loosehead, and Italy have it, and they're holding Scotland up. And Rutsa, who's come back on after being a blood replacement, the second row, takes it forwards and sets up the elongated ruck, and Pasrello, the 9 for Italy, box kicks. Kinghorn collects in his own half. Again it's messy, and Fagerson of the Xander variety has to go in and make sure Ben White's got time before moving the ball on. Scotland in their own half, 19-all against Italy, 55 and a half minutes on the clock on BBC Radio Scotland and 5 Sports Extra. Ben White hoists the kick into the Edinburgh sky. Darcy Graham goes up, but it's well taken by Paolo Garbisi. He lays it back. Graham now trying to counter up, and Italy have it, moving away from the west stand at Murrayfield, attacking the north stand. Pasrello, scrum half, box kick. Kinghorn swallows that one, and again little step and he beats one. Can't beat another as he's taken round the ankles, short of the halfway line. Matt Fagerson show and go, but again Italy just putting everything into every single tackle, and Scotland have to kick, and it's not Russell's best effort, only up to the halfway line, and then it's lost forward by Hugh Jones, and it will be a scrum to Italy, and Scotland just lacking a bit of clarity at the moment in what they're doing. Italy thumping into tackles left, right and centre and getting a lot of joy, and it will be a scrum to the Italians. Scotland 19, Italy 19, an absorbing Six Nations game here at Murrayfield. Johnny Beattie.
An arm wrestle. This is what it's turned into. And we called it before the game. I didn't think there'd be much between these sides. Scotland racing away with the lead in the first period, but Italy have been superb in the second period. Defensively, fighting for every inch, bossing collisions. Scotland have been fractious in attack as well. Their detail hasn't quite been there. The ball hasn't stuck when they looked to go out the back to Finn Russell to give the ball three-quarter line. It's been difficult. It's been a very difficult period for Scotland, this opening 15 minutes of the second half, and they just need 2 or 3 phases to click, to get right, to get across the gain line, to pressurise this Italy side, because actually, righty, it's been Italy all the way in the second half.
Yeah, defensively extremely strong, aren't they? They've just, although they've conceded 3 tries, Italy, their defence has been pretty brutal, pretty good, pretty strong, and that's where Scotland have got to get it right. They've got to try and hold that defence and play with. When we have played with Width, we've created chances. This half we've probably created 2. First half probably created 2. So that's maybe 4 opportunities that at this level you have to execute.
Yeah, and Scotland have made some changes. Six Nations debuts for Tom Jordan and Gregor Brown, who are on, as is George Horne at scrum half. So can the replacements get Scotland in a better position? Free kick at the scrum, and Pasarello, the scrum half, goes quickly, taps it, stabs forward the kick, it's bouncing about horribly, and Scotland's 22 and it trundles out, and Scotland have the line out in their own 22, and Italy with their tails up.
That's a lovely kick by Pasarello as well. He does enough just to keep the ball in his hand from that free kick at the base of the scrum, take the ball to the line. That draws Duhan van der Merwe up, and then up as soon as he's up, he kicks the ball in behind him. Scotland have to play out from their 5 metre line. Treacherous area. And a first start for Ewan Ashman.
Yeah, and a big line out for Ewan Ashman with Dave Cherry departing, and it's not taken quite cleanly, but they've got it. Gilchrist almost spilled it, but he didn't. That's the crucial point. And now George Horne is waiting for this to be presented back to him by Ashman. He gets it, George Horne, and clears it off the pitch. Italy line out between Scotland's 22 and 10 metre line.
Tom's stats are coming to fruition again, aren't they? We haven't scored in the second half. That's 18 and a half minutes gone in the second half. We haven't managed to score, which is just a continuation of last season. Third and fourth quarters really poor attacking.
Gianmarco Lucchesi, the replacement hooker, throws into the lineup for Italy. They claim it. It's taken forwards by Ross Vincent, the back rower, who's come on for the Italians as well. It's messy at the ruck. Matt Fagerson is in there, and they hold Italy up, and that's an important moment. Darge was in there as well, and Gregor Townsend with a little smile to himself, and that's Tom Jordan who got involved and makes that turnover. Jack Dempsey, sorry.
And big Jack, again, he's just come off the bench, but that's a big moment, because when you talk momentum and power and timing in these games, Italy there, that was a real opportunity to launch, to strike. Vincent, his first ball carry coming off the bench for Italy, but he's been absolutely grabbed, ragdolled by Jack Dempsey, who again will want to make a big impact coming off the bench, and Scotland have the ball back. I thought they were going to have to weather their multi-phase from the Italians, who'd have been delighted to get ball in hand. Great work by Dempsey.
We're about to hit the hour mark. Final quarter of this game. Scotland 19, Italy 19. It really is gripping. It's not been a classic in the second half, certainly in terms of the rugby on show, but it is fiercely competitive. Italy have battled back from a 10-point deficit at half-time to level this game. Juan Ignacio Brex with an intercept try under the posts.
Yeah, and it's interesting, the previous scrum he gave a free kick against Scotland for I think it was an early engage. There Italy are not taking the hit, they've made the engage. You can actually see Italy taking little steps back, almost going what they call a soft hit to try and nurse the penalty, but it's a reset. It's just that consistent management at the breakdown. Scums has been really good, not been any real hassle, but all of a sudden the game now becomes, on a knife edge, so every single decision becomes crucial now.
Second attempt at this scrum. George Horne puts it in, and it's solid from both. Horne away to Russell, now out to Jones. Kinghorn, Darcy Graham on the wing, scampers in field, he's found a gap, Darcy Graham, and he's over the halfway line. Darcy Graham looking for support, finds Hugh Jones, and Scotland are going to score. Hugh Jones with a sensational try, but that was made by Darcy Graham, who gets Scotland out of jail and restores their lead and sends Murrayfield berserk. What a moment, and it is Scotland 24, Italy 19.
What a try for Scotland, unbelievable. Again, of all the huff and puff that we watched in the opening 20 minutes of this second period, Scotland, normally any other side would exit from where they start with the ball, but they decide to pass across their back line. Italy guilty of over-chasing. Three men absolutely burned by Darcy Graham. A bit of footwork, he darts back inside, skips out a tackle, and manages to find Hugh Jones in the 5 metre line. What a try by the Scottish backline, phenomenal work.
Brilliant, that's all you can say, isn't it? It's brilliant. It's just having that confidence, and you know yourself when you're attacking to that zone. The Italian players have to, the fullback has to sit quite deep, the winger has to sit deep just in case, so you do get that little bit of space, and when you've got footwork like Darcy Graham, as you say, Johnny, one step took 3 defenders out. He got half tackled, but just kept his legs pumping, and a beautiful pass to Hugh Jones. That's one of the best tries you'll see all season.
Scotland's glittering backline delivers a sensational score that they badly needed, and Finn Russell has added the conversion. It is Scotland 26, Italy 19, 62 minutes played, and it's a 7-point game.
Well, at least we've got a point anyway for the bonus points try, but yeah, good comeback actually, because Scotland sometimes when they get into that situation struggle to come back, but actually they've done well to do that. Just got to make sure now that they execute their clearance from this just to justify the try.
Restart is collected by Dempsey. Horn waits and gives it to Sutherland, and these are important moments for Scotland and Italy. Scotland can ill afford basic errors as Horn box kicks and it doesn't go to touch, taken, and now Garbisi drives forward. Tom Jordan's held him up, the referee's called tackle. Now Italy come to this near side. Cannoni, good Scottish defence, there's 3 of them. Holt, Cannoni in his tracks. Now it's Brex out to Allen, and then the pass into the wide channels, intercepted, and Darcy Graham's away. He gets a tap in the ankle, stays on his feet, holds off 2, and the ball is lost forward by Darcy Graham. And now Italy survive. He is such a live wire. Can't take your eyes off him for a moment. And Italy get away with it on that occasion after a loose play in their 5-metre channel in this near side. And it's cleared forward by Alessandro Garbisi, taken by Kinghorn, who's done that all day. Graham on this near side, he's not got much room, but he stays in field, avoids touch crucially. That was well manoeuvred. Played forward, and Ashman is over the halfway line. The clock strikes 64 minutes. Scotland 26, Italy 19 on Radio Scotland and 5 Sports Extra live on the BBC. That's forward. Garbisi takes the kick. Fagerson melted him, and he's taken a stinger on the shoulder, Matt Fagerson, and then it's spilled forward by Italy. Knock on, and the advantage for that knock on is being played now by referee Carl Dixon for Scotland. Horn, Russell are going left. Kinghorn thinks about the big pass, goes short to Hugh Jones, who's on a hat-trick, and then he loses it forward. And I'm going to go back for the scrum.
Right, so here's Johnny, you're an experienced rugby player. When Darcy Graham made a little break, when they had knocked on, well, he only knocked the ball on, Darcy Graham picks the ball up, runs 10-15 metres, they then nicks it on, then it's a play on, and yet Italy knocked the ball on here. We play for a bit, almost more than Darcy Graham played on, and he's not playing that as an advantage over. He's coming back. That's what I don't understand. Why is Darcy Graham not going back? And is it territory made? Because obviously Scotland made very little territory, even though they went wide. They would just not try and fathom it out. Yeah, they just don't try. That's the easiest way not to try and second guess a ref, especially an ex-scrum half. Hard to second guess them when they were on the pitch, never mind as referees. But yeah, a good comeback from Scotland. You know, they've looked confident. They've looked, you know, they've not panicked in any way. They've just looked to up the tempo a little bit, and still getting a huge amount from the pack. And all of a sudden, your backs are starting to add. Tom Jordan, I think, just brings a little bit something different when he comes on, particularly at 12.
Matt Fagerson was getting a bit of treatment after his tackle, and Garbisi hurt his shoulder, but he looks like he's okay to continue. Takes a big deep breath. Second try for Hugh Jones, incidentally, brings him on to 14 in 30 appearances in the Six Nations, a level with Duhan van der Merwe in terms of Scotland tries in the Six Nations. Only Stuart Hogg has more on 16, so those two hunting the record in this championship.
Stuart Hogg,
and it's played in at the scrum. George Horn out to Tom Jordan, round the back for Russell, looks for the gap. Darcy Graham still on his feet, tackled by Garbisi, 7 metres short of the try line. George Horn gets it away, comes in field towards the posts. It's quick, rapid stuff. Horne, Jordan, out to Hugh Jones, hunting the hat-trick. Little step on the outside, goes on the inside, stretches and scores! Hat-trick for Hugh Jones! What a finish from the Scotland centre! And Scotland are motoring away from Italy once more. It is Scotland 31, Italy 19.
Again, just how you play rugby, wide, you take it, you take the defence wide, stretch them. I'll tell you what though, he had still an awful lot to do. You know, I don't know who the guy gave the pass, but he missed out Xander Fagerson for some reason, gave it straight to Hugh Jones. But Jones did all the work, and he's probably taken away the man of the match from Xander Fagerson. Now he'll be man of the match with a hat-trick, I would have thought.
But we have to see, I mean, what a finish. He's still got 3 players to beat. He stepped inside 2, he's fended 1. Unbelievable. I mean, Scotland now, we've got the ability to get our best players and our X-factor players on the ball, especially from strike. So that's a set-piece move again. They've generated loads of momentum, come back to where they started, and they've got Hugh Jones onto the ball. But what a player, and what a finish.
He knows how to score, doesn't he? He just knows where the try line is. That's a great ability to have. And as you say, Johnny, he's got 3 defenders. That's nobody shouldn't be scoring that try from that position. 9 metres out, 3 guys in front of him. But just that determination and ability and confidence. That's the other thing. He's got the confidence that he can do.
Finn Russell pulled the conversion from wide past the far post, so it is Scotland 31, Italy 19. 12 points in it, and we've got 12 and a half minutes left of this game. What have Italy got in response again? They came back before to level. Can they come back again? Will Scotland see out this game and get a victory on the board? A bonus point victory it would be as well. Johnny Gray on the 22. Hugh Jones just loves the Six Nations, always seems to step up in this tournament. Imagine to think he had a time where he wasn't getting picked as well at one point. As that kick from George Horne is charged down and then Italy pile in, but they've infringed in their eagerness to get onto that ball in the ruck, and Scotland take a welcome penalty in their own 22 and will breathe a sigh of relief after a bit of scrappiness there as they kicked from the base of the ruck.
I think the attitude there was that George Horne, you got the ball charged down, mate, you catch it and you get smashed by the replacement hooker, which he did both, and the replacement hooker got on the road and wouldn't roll away, so managed to get away for the penalty. But again, it's just getting yourself into a position after you've scored a try. Will Hurd coming on from Gregor obviously believes that Scotland's job's done. Fagerson, Xander, outstanding, absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, and Murrayfield shows its appreciation for Xander Fagerson. Another 6 to 8 minute shift. Italy also made a change. Simone Gazy, the winger, is on for the final 12 minutes. George Horne whips it to Finn Russell just in front of his own 10 metre line, and he sends it high into the sky. It drops on Italy's 10, and as that come back off a Scotland player, and Italy have it, and it's Alessandro Garbisi now at scrum half, gives it one out and a little show and go. Garbisi infield, and Italy needs something special to hit back. They go to the air with a kick. Kinghorn doesn't come for it, but Van der Merwe was there and he drops it, but he was facing backwards and he gets back to his feet and manages to cling on to possession. Horne spins it away, and Scotland in their own half, just trying to keep things calm. Will Hurd's in there along with Grant Gilchrist, setting up the ruck for George Horne to kick. This one is not charged down, it's over halfway, but infield taken by Tommaso Allen, and then the tackle is called by the referee Carl Dixon, and it's spun to this near side, and Breck's try scorer, show and go, tackled by Tom Jordan. Brilliant tackle from the Glasgow Warrior. Italy come up this near side, scragged to the turf. Garbisi finds his brother Paolo, and then a darting run from Rizzoli on for his debut in the front row. Italy trying to work space infield. There's Simone Gacy, the replacement, and Italy just short of Scotland's 22 now, and they're going right. This is the best rugby they've really played all afternoon. Garbisi over the top here now for Menoncello. Menoncello, big fen, gets the offload away. Scotland defend it for now, but Italy on the front foot, and it's forwards. Rizzoli, Alessandro Garbisi, Monteoani pops up, Italy in the middle, Gacy, it's forward, it's Vincent, he's just short, held up by Hugh Jones, then there's a little snipe round the edge. We've gone 9 phases now for Italy. They're on Scotland's line, can they hit back? It's Negri, what a hit, a double hit, Kinghorn involved to stop Negri from that range. They're near the corner, well, this near corner Italy, 4 metres out. Scotland capitalise on a loose pass, but the ruck is set up and Italy are trying their best to get this game tighter once more. Scotland's defence holding firm. Rizzoli, the prop, moves it out to Cannone, and then there was an advantage being played, so we're going to go back for that penalty to Italy. Not sure that was for what that was for, I have to admit, but the referee has called it, and Italy will have a penalty, and they're going to have to kick for the corner here, I would imagine, or certainly the time for posts is probably done.
First time Italy have played, they've actually played very little rugby in attack. They've done a lot of good things in defence, but in attack they've hardly played, and that's the first time they've got tempo into the game. They've looked really dangerous, and fair dues to Scotland, scramble defence was outstanding, managed to hold them out, gave away the penalty. Didn't seem given an advantage there at all for a penalty. Not sure kind of what that was for, but good D.
Kyle Rowe is on for Darcy Graham, who is due a debt of gratitude for the Murrayfield crowd for setting up that try which moved them away when the game was locked. They needed a bit of magic, and he certainly provided it, and he applauds the Murrayfield crowd as he's replaced. But this is an important moment in this game. 72 on the clock, Scotland 12 in front, Italy line out collected, and they set up the maul 5 metres from Scotland's line. They're going to ask big questions of Scotland's defence here. It's held up short of the line. Garbisi spins it to Brex. Brex gets it away, and their outfield, Menancello offloads to Gacy, but they've lost yardage, and Scotland are able to get in there. Rory Darge and others, and Italy suddenly, they were 5 metres now out, now they're about 18 metres from the Scotland line. Go around the edge, lovely offer from Menancello, and Gacy, has he stopped, and he spilled it forward, has he? Garbisi pounces on it and dots it over the try line, but it's a knock-on, I think. Yeah, the referee has called the knock-on. Great bit of last-ditch defence from Scotland, having been undone round the rock there initially, and it was Gacy, and the shot that was Darge and Tom Jordan that was in there.
Just seemed to, he didn't even get knocked out. I don't think he had any grip on it, and he just let it drop. But very critical of the Scots, watching chances. That's a try, should have been a try. You would have got Italy right back in the game, but unfortunately
Scotland carved open, you have to say, but the scramble defence in the end saving them. Darge and Tom Jordan both getting back and interjecting.
Huge from Hugh Jones as well, down before to stop them short as well as his 3 tries. It will be a scrum to Scotland in the shadow of their own posts. We've got 7 minutes left, and they're 31-19 in front. But Simone Gacy, the only other cap was against Scotland a couple of years ago. He'll be ruining that missed opportunity. Should have finished it.
It's international rugby, isn't it? You get few chances, you've got to execute what you get. I mean, Scotland have scored 5, haven't they? Is it 5 tries Scotland have got? But they've probably created another 4 or 5 within that. And you just hope it doesn't come back to bite them on their backsides, because it just takes Italy to get one more score and they're right back in this.
Scrum on Scotland's 5 metre line. George Horne prepares to put it in. He has put it in, and Italy get a real shove on, but Horne emerges with the ball at the back of the scrum, and it's fed to Tom Jordan in the centre, and they utilise his right boot, and he clears it off the park just about the 10 metre line. Brilliant hit from Tom Jordan, and that's what he gives you from that position, Peter Wright.
Yeah, we've actually got a good midfield. McDowell's got a good boot on him, obviously Tuipulotu's got a good boot, Russell, so we've got a good kicking option. It's just the fact that we try and play so much rugby, you don't often see the kicking option for Scotland.
Scotland 31, Italy 19. A compelling Six Nations match. Scotland appeared to be blowing Italy away before they roared back to level at 19-all, but 2 tries in the second half has taken Scotland 12 clear, but Italy are playing, and it's in the outside. Allen tackled. Garbisi, the scrum half, comes into this near side. Alessandro and Paolo Garbisi, the half-backs, the brothers for Italy at the moment. Brex in midfield, lays it to a forward who crashes over. It's Rutzer, scrum half away. Nice hands from Italy, and Paolo Garbisi stabs in the kick, but there was a penalty advantage for the Italians, and they'll come back for that as they look to try and get themselves back to within potentially 5 points in the closing stages of this game. And a penalty on the 10-metre line.
Yeah, and it frustrates you, doesn't it? Because Scotland's defence is actually pretty solid, so they just got caught on the back foot there. They just came up a little bit too quick. But you don't have to come up too quick. Your defence is good enough. Your defence is good enough to stop Italy from playing, and you just give them an easy entrance into your 22 and an opportunity for a try.
I thought Garbisi for a half second had overhit that, but he hasn't. Judged it perfectly into the corner, and with 5 left, Italy have a line out 5 metres from the Scotland try line. The Scots have weathered the storm Italy have brought in the last 5 or 6 minutes so far. Taken in the middle of the line out by Rutzer, and the ball is ready to go for Italy. Scotland try and spin it, but Italy still going, breakaway, brilliant defence. Tom Jordan again in there. He's just been brilliant since he's come off the bench. Negri spots a little gap and bashes 2 blue jerseys, but he's on the grass. Garbisi gives it to Nicolo Cannone. Cannone presents it. Can Italy find a gap in this blue wall? 4 minutes left. Italy under Scotland's post, but 7 metres short. Here's Gacy again, thumped, and Tom Jordan's trying to hold him up. Lobs to get stuck in. Tom Jordan not afraid to fit a hit in, aggressive in defence. Italy move it to the far side. Menoncello tackled, and Scotland counter ruck. Sutherland's in, and now they're told they're off their feet. George Horn, and he retreats, and Italy still have it. Rutzer, ruck formed. It's played to Vincent, and then is that lost forward? It is. Scotland have it. Jack Dempsey has it, and then the penalty is called for Italy. And
it's a knock on, so you clown. Unbelievable. How bad is that? He gives the penalty hub, and that is, I know he changed his mind and got it right, but again, he shouldn't even be in that situation.
No, I thought the Cannone was good.
Yeah, I don't know if he got a word in his ear there, or whether he just decided to give the penalty and then reverse the scrum. Maybe that's the protocol.
He'd forgotten he had given the knock on advantage, I think, Thomas.
I can't check it.
Because all that happens by him doing that is he upsets commentators and pundits, and they just say silly things. And apologise. The problem is my mic's too close. I should put my mic way, way far away. So. Anyway, great defence, great turnover. Just Scotland, you just wonder, Scotland last year would have crumbled under all this pressure. It's great this time they're getting it right. It's good.
Hugh Jones is named player of the match for his hat-trick.
Just for 3 tries.
Yeah.
I know, one of them was easy. But that last one, that was a Wormsley for me. That was a quality try.
Yep, sensational performance from him. Scotland 12 points to the good, 3 minutes left of this Six Nations match. Commentary to come on 5 Live and 5 Sports Extra of England in Dublin against Ireland in the 4:45 kick-off to come, as the scrum is commenced, and it's a big shunt and the front rows go down. George Horn is told to play it, and he passes away to Finn Russell, who uses the right boot to send it off the pitch just at the 10-metre line, and Scotland will take that, and it looks as though they're edging towards victory on the opening weekend of the Six Nations.
Yeah, a good decision again at the scrum, and I've just watched Carl Dixon say to Will Hurd, the Italian boy turned it in, that's why, the ball was at the back of the scrum. how often have you seen that same scrum set up getting collapsed in and been given as a penalty? I think it was a good decision. I think he played it right, but we've got to have that consistency throughout the game.
Italy slap the line out back. It's not clean, but they come forward anyway. Menoncello in midfield, stopped in his tracks, and then Rizzoli, the loose head, goes looking for it. Italy drive forward. Now it's Garbisi. They come back this near side. Allen, Brex, Gacy dancing through a little half space, but he's held up now by 3 Scotland players. Tackle is called. Scotland release in their raucous form. Here come Italy, and it's juggling in midfield. That was Negri who just clung onto it by his fingernails. But Italy have lost metres. Out to Capozzo on the right wing. Tries to skip through a space that wasn't there as he's tackled. Now it's Vincent. And again, Scotland effective at halting momentum, but penalty is called. And Italy will have a penalty, but we're into the final minute, and it is a 12-point game, so even if Italy score here, then I don't think the win is there for them, but certainly the bonus point could be.
Yeah, that's what they'll be going for. They'll be going to try and get a bonus point out of the game. You would argue that probably, okay, in the last 10 minutes they've attacked a little bit better, but for 70 minutes before that, they were, for a team who's got such talent and they're a good attacking team, I think the way Scotland kept them under control in attack has been pretty good. It's been pretty dominant from Scotland in that point of view. But it's all about fine lines, and you get a try here, you get yourself a bonus point. Probably not enough time to score 2 tries with 30 seconds to go.
One last defensive set for Scotland. Be desperate to keep Italy out into 1 try. It's off the top though, and then Menoncello crashes it forward. He's driving the legs, but he's down about 1.5 meters short. Garbisi to Lucchesi, the hooker. He's still trying to get away, and Tom Jordan again in there disrupting. And then Scotland try and counter-ruck. Italy asked the question of the referee, does Scotland have it? And Tom Jordan's looking about, he's driven over the top. Penalty to Scotland, the clock is red, and that will be that. Scotland are going to get victory here on the opening weekend of the Six Nations. Finn Russell taps it and swats it off the park with a lazy swipe of the boot, and it is job done for Scotland at Murrayfield on weekend 1 of the Six Nations. But boy, were they made to work for it. We knew they would be against this ever improving Italian team. Early on it looked as though Scotland might blow Italy away with 3 scores from Darge, Hugh Jones and Ben White. Tommaso Allen kept them in touch with some brilliant kicking from the tee, and from 10 points down at the break, an interception try from Brex brought things level, and it was nervy, it was tense, it was fraught at Murrayfield at that point. But some individual brilliance from the Scottish backs meant they pulled away in the end. Hugh Jones profited from a brilliant break from Darcy Graham, and then he completed his hat-trick with a tremendous finish towards the corner at the end. And Scotland impressively got the job done. They did not crumble under pressure as Italy came roaring back, but in the end they have finished the job, and that is all that matters on weekend 1. Full time at Murrayfield in the Six Nations. Scotland 31, Italy 19.
Scotland versus Italy.
They're over the line, it's a marvellous score.
Scotland in the Six Nations.
What a finish! It's a sensational score.
The Six Nations, live on Sportsound from BBC Radio Scotland.
On BBC Sounds. From life aboard a Russian submarine to chairman of Hearts Football Club.
At this stage, he was the hero.
But as his controversial decisions escalated...
They said, we're going to sack George. And I'm going, you can't do this.
How did Vladimir Romanov go from Hearts saviour to a wanted man?
It caused a whole load of chaos and havoc.
Romanov, Tsar of Hearts. Listen now on BBC Sounds.
Scotland are up and running in the Six Nations with a bonus point victory over Italy here at Murrayfield, running out winners by 31 points to 19, but there were some nervy moments as the Italians rallied from 14-0 down to level things up at 19-all. But Scotland, with a Hugh Jones hat-trick of tries, get themselves over the line in the opening round. You are listening to Sports Sound Rugby on BBC Radio Scotland and 5 Sports Extra with me, Andy Burke. Listeners on 5 Sports Extra will soon be able to tune in to Ireland versus England. Chris Jones and the team standing by in Dublin, so stay tuned for that. Here at Murrayfield, Johnny Beattie, Peter Wright and Thomas Duncan have been describing the action. We'll get the thoughts of Tom English very shortly, but Johnny, Scotland are over the line. They've got the 5 points, and they had to survive a little test of character there in that second half.
Job done, Berkey. Look, it's a bonus point win in the opener. You couldn't have asked for more, but there were some tough periods in that game. Don't get me wrong, it was hard. Tremendous elements. Some of the tries, the opportunities created and the way they finished were tremendous. They left a few out there they'll be disappointed with. And some of the parts of the game, some of the elements were a little bit ragged, but it's game one, it's done, it's a bonus point win. They'll take it and they'll move on to, no doubt, what will be much tougher opposition next week in Ireland that come here, best team in the world. They have been 2, 3, 4 years on the bounce. It's going to get tougher, but they'll just be happy. They'll take the points and move on.
Yeah, Tom English, 5 points in the bag from week one. That's what they came for, Scotland. We did worry, were we watching another horror show unfold, much like Rome last year, but Scotland recovered themselves, they regathered their composure and they got it done.
They did, yeah, and I think it was all sparked by that Darcy Graham break that led to Hugh Jones's try, one of his 3 tries. I think Scotland were in a bit of bad place at that time. You know, their play had become very ragged. They were making mistakes. There was balls dropping on the floor, and Italy's confidence was beginning to soar. In that one break, that piece of mesmeric play, and the finish from Jones, and then 5 or 6 minutes later the hat-trick is completed. That was the game right there. Scotland, fair play to them, they dug it out. They were looking in a bit of bother. It was very much shades of Rome 12 months ago, but they had the character and they had the game breakers. They had the brilliance to get the job done. And at the end, and I bet you Gregor Townsend is going to talk about this, the defence holding out there, not giving Italy a score at the end to make it a nervy finish. There was some brilliant defensive work in there at the end. So I think it's a very good day for Scotland.
Yeah, Peter Wright, we have to give credit to Italy, because at 14-0 down they might have easily thought this isn't our day, but we know enough about this Italian team now to know that they don't just give it up. They stayed in that fight and got themselves right back into it.
Yeah, they kept themselves in with the penalties. You know, they kicked 3 penalties in the first half, kept themselves in the game, knew they were only 10 points behind, had the confidence that they could come back for that, and they had a solid start in the second half, you know, getting the penalty, then obviously the interception. I think what they'll be disappointed about, Andy, is for probably 65 minutes they didn't fire a shot on attack, and a lot of that was down to how Scotland played, how Scotland defended, how Scotland managed to keep ball, but that will really concern the Italians, that they didn't really fire a shot for that last 15 minutes. I think Steve Tandy will be over the moon with his defence. They were scrambled, they were outstanding. That's the time when guys are tired as well, and they managed to put a good shift in that last 15-20 minutes. Fagerson, Matt, Darge, outstanding. Darge was outstanding all game. The forwards as a unit, I thought, were outstanding. They carried exceptionally well, and just an all-round good team performance that could have been a bit of a nightmare, but they dug it out, Andy, and they got I think they got the victory that they thoroughly deserved with their 80-minute performance.
Yeah, Johnny, I know we need to let you go shortly. Give us your final thoughts. It is an opening day victory. I think all Scotland fans would have taken that scoreline going into this. Sets them up for a huge game next week back here against Ireland.
Yeah, absolutely. We spoke at the start of the programme. Italy are vastly improved, and they probably weren't as good as they have been. They beat us last year in Rome, so for us to get that one over them, start with a win, hugely positive, and it's always scrappy. First game of the competition, there's always going to be elements you're not happy with, but they're together now. The win is in the bank. You move forward. You know you're going to have to up your game next weekend against Ireland, because you've got one of the world's best sides coming to the ground. But there's also a sense of what might be. You know, Sam Prendergast coming in, quantity unknown, quality unknown. Are we going to attack his 10 channel? It looks a bit question marks around his defence. You've obviously got Farrell's not there, so you've got Easterby is leading the camp, but is it different? Is the detail not there? Is the leadership not there? So all these questions psychologically, Gregor will be feeding the players this week. We need to get better, we need to improve, but is this our shot? We haven't beaten Ireland since 2017. Can we increase our levels across the board and go 2 from 2, which would for Scotland be enormous in this competition?
Yeah, huge game coming up. Johnny, great to have your company. Thanks again. Tom English, game 1 is always going to be about ironing out a few creases. It's hard to hit the ground running unless you're France, of course, but Scotland have done that. They've got the opening game out the way and got the points, and that's the overriding thing.
It is, and because we were a bit anxious about this with all the chat about injuries. I would have taken a 1-pointer today if it meant 1-point win, and they've done a lot better than that. They've got 5. They got 5 tries today. They got a bonus point. And I think it's a very, very good day. The defence held out, really, really good defence at the end. And when you have game breakers, like Darcy Graham, like Hugh Jones, you've always got a chance. And Darcy Graham's contribution there in that moment, I think it won the game. I think that was the most significant thing that happened the whole day, because Scotland were in a bit of a hole, and he dug them out of it with just a moment of sheer genius.
Yeah, Peter, Scotland really needed someone to step up in that moment, didn't they? And that was just a piece of magic from Darcy to break the game open.
Yeah, and having the vision and the confidence, and obviously that's something that's installed them as a squad, that they're happy to attack from anywhere on the pitch. But when you attack for that deep, Andy, you know yourself, you were a player in your day, and that's where defences can be weakest, because the wingers are going to sit a little bit deeper, fullbacks going to sit deep, so there can be space. But you've then still got to do the work, and that step off his right foot that took away the 3 defenders, and in the left-hand pass, absolutely outstanding. And it just sometimes takes that little bit of brilliance to get you into the game. And the one thing with Scotland is they've got a lot of players that can do that. They've got 3 or 4 in the forwards, and they've got a huge amount in the backs. I thought all the backs played pretty well. I thought when Tom Jordan came on, he was outstanding. George Horn, outstanding when he came on. It's the fine line, isn't it? Pro sport, fine line.
Sorry, Peter, I'm just going to interrupt you. I'm joined by the hat-trick hero, Hugh Jones. You must be feeling pretty good, Hugh.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Slowly chasing down Darcy and Dewey. Look, it's a good win. I think at the beginning of the second half, they had a lot of momentum, and I thought, here we go again. We clawed it back, got back control, I thought, and then sort of that last 15 minutes, the defensive effort we showed, even when right at the end the game was won, to keep them out there, I thought that was massive, and sort of a good show of our mentality there. So yeah, happy with that.
Is it a big step forward psychologically, Hugh, because you alluded to it there, Scotland have been in holes before and not managed to find their way out of them? You did today.
Yeah, definitely. I think in the past we maybe, in some games, we spiraled out of control and let the game get away from us when things have gone wrong. And like we know, we made a big point about it, that not every game's going to be perfect. There will be times, there'll be swings in momentum. We'll go ahead, we may go behind, but sort of staying on task, focusing on what's important, sort of the next job. And I know it's a cliche, but like that is genuinely what you need to think about in these games. And so it's a good first step in this campaign, I think.
Ireland next week, ready for it?
Yeah, look, obviously that's the big one. They've had our number over the last few years, and so we've come close a couple of times but never quite got there. So it's a huge challenge for us, and look, we've got a big week of preparation, and we'll want to sort of show what we're made of next week.
Congratulations, great performance, Hugh.
Thank you very much.
Well done. That was Hugh Jones, Scotland's hat-trick hero, Tom, and what a player he has been for Scotland for such a long time now.
Unbelievable player. He's just a kind of one of the greatest attacking centres in the game right now. He's such an intelligent player, and his finishing is exceptional. And some of the tries he put together, his entire try reel. He scored some absolutely epic scores. And there's another one today, the one in the corner. It's probably not as flamboyant as some of the ones he scored before.
Some finish though.
But to finish that with 3 guys staring him in the face, it's just brilliant. I mean, he identifies what's going on in front of him. The Italians are sliding, he cuts inside, he can beat them all. It's just he's such an intelligent player. his own story, as we all know. We've told it often enough about the explosive beginning to his international career, then a massive lull, and to have the character and the ability to come back from that. And I think he's a better player now than he ever was when he came into the side with all those wonder tries. He's a more rounded player. He's a more intelligent player. He's better defence. He's just outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, Peter, how many times have we seen centres in particular burst onto the scene in the national jersey, have a purple patch, and you lose form and you can't come back from it? The way Hugh rebuilt from a real difficult few years, and as Tom says, he's improved his defence beyond recognition. He's come back a better, more rounded player.
Yeah, I think obviously the coaches that you work under are a big part of that, and I think having Franco Smith at Glasgow certainly helps him, and he's showing his form now. It's great.
Gregor Townsend, the Scotland head coach, has just joined me. Gregor, we said all week Italy were really going to test you, and that's exactly how it panned out today.
Yeah, they did. They're a good side, a very good side, and they probably grew in confidence as the game went on, and obviously the breakaway try gave them a little boost at that time. But I thought it was a test for us. First game, you're not going to be error free. The fatigue of the Six Nations, I saw that last night when I was watching the Wales game. It's a reminder that it's a tough tournament. And then the mental test of having to find a way to win. But our boys came through all those tests today.
The third quarter became a real struggle. Italy's line speed and defence was causing you a lot of problems. Darcy Graham comes up with a moment when you really needed something just to get you going again.
Yeah, that's right, and they did change the way they defended in the second half. We were getting more space in the first half, and then they came up hard, got us man and ball, got the intercept try. But look, I think we still had a few chances through the way we were playing. We were close to the line, a couple of drop balls, but we've also got individuals like Darcy, like Blair, like Hugh, who can make special things happen, and we obviously want to get the ball in their hands as much as possible. So yeah, I'm glad we saw it through, and we got an 8-day turnaround, which we'll probably need, because that was a physical game.
Hat-trick of tries for Hugh Jones. What a player he's been for Scotland.
Oh, absolutely, and he does much more than score tries. He's very, very good defensively. His running lines often don't get the reward because the ball goes out behind, or he's taken in two defenders. But yeah, great to see him play with so much fitness and speed into that final quarter. I didn't realise he scored 3, but that's a brilliant effort for him.
And I don't want all the praise to go at your backs, because I thought your tight five got through a mountain of work, particularly in that first 60 minutes or so.
100%, and you would have seen the way we played. At times we were carrying close to the ruck to narrow the defence up, and that is hard work for the front five, for the whole pack. Xander, the amount of carries he had, Dave Cherry got on ball a lot, Scoomy got a little bit more width in his carries, and you've got Grant, Johnny, who are doing a lot of work, Maul defence as well. I thought the bench did really well when they came on, Gregor Brown in particular, and I think real credit goes to one of our captains, Rory Darge.
Yeah.
Like the hustle he showed to save a try, a couple of key jackals, and he carried the ball well in the first half in particular. So yeah, the forwards did a lot of good work today.
Just finally, Gregor, Ireland's here. It's going to be a cracker. They're due one. Are you ready for it? Big challenge coming.
Yeah, we know the challenge is coming. If we bring the same physicality as we did in Dublin, with a bit more accuracy in attack, that'll give us an opportunity. But a game like that, you've got to take your chances. You've got to stop the opposition taking the chances. But there's a lot of positives to build on today. But we know we'll have to grow and improve another 10-20% for next week.
You're up and running, Gregor. Well done.
Thank you.
Good man. That's the Scotland head coach. Yep. Gregor Townsend, Tom, and pretty pleased. He referenced the kind of drop off in that third quarter. A lot of credit has to go to Italy for that, but I think he's very pleased to go over the line in such a tough game.
Yeah, and he was right to single out all of those people in a collective performance. I agree with everything that he said there. They're going to need to up it a little bit for the Ireland game, but this is a very, very good start, and the defence was tested as well. At the attack, it looks pin sharp. I know there was a couple of misplaced passes and a few balls that went to ground, but they got 5 tries in their first Six Nations game of the season. That's really encouraging. Front 5, excellent. Johnny Gray hasn't played in 6 weeks. I thought he was really good. Gilchrist was a big leader for them. Scuba, Cherry, hats off to Dave Cherry. I thought he was terrific in his time in the field. Brilliant wonder assist for Ben White. And Xander Fagerson has done only what you'd expect Xander Fagerson to do. He's world class. He's one of the best tight ends in the world. Showed it again today, getting better. I thought his performance was off the scale.
And then he has Hugh Jones coming along, scoring a hat-trick and taking the man of the match award that was rightfully his, Peter.
Yeah, Adam Down is man of the match. I thought he was outstanding, but somebody scores a hat-trick, you can never deny them that. And also, as Townsend said, that the other work that Hugh Jones does is fantastic. Let's not beat about the bush. Hugh Jones was a dreadful defender when he played for Scotland. He didn't like head-on tackles. He let guys go past him and would try and hunt them down for the back or the side. But he's improved so much, both in attack and defence. And as Townsend said, he didn't probably get the rewards. I mean, he scored 14 or 15 tries, but he probably doesn't get the reward that he deserves in attack sometimes, because he's always there, he's always on his shoulder. And the plus to that is he always takes defenders away from other people and creates space for other people. The challenge for Scotland is to get players into attack to make sure that they exploit that. And that would be the one little criticism you'd have today, Andy, is that they probably left 4 or 5 tries and on the pitch, 2 in the first half definitely, and maybe a couple in the second half. And you've got to obviously make that work for you against teams like Ireland, where you'll get less opportunities. So you've got to make sure that you can execute the ones that you do create. But you know what? Great performance all round. Showed a great start and then real guts to come back where years gone by they might have lost that game. And in that last 15 minutes, outstanding defence. So just an all-round fantastic Saturday. And you go into that Ireland-England game now not really caring who wins, because Scotland, you're positive with the win, but you're also positive with the performance and the attitude and all that. Yeah, I'm a really happy guy tonight.
Glad to hear it. The listeners on 5 Sports Extra will be certainly interested in Ireland versus England. That's coming up very shortly. Let's quickly get some more reaction from the Scotland camp now. Finn Russell has been speaking to Sonia McLaughlin.